Vivo.
Play PUBG Mobile for free.
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with the pan. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane, you get into the zone. In PUBG Mobile, you all come from different walks in life. But you face the same dangers on the battleground. And you become friends. You work together to overcome the obstacles. This is PUBG Mobile. There's a number one in all of us. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile first anniversary party. PUBG Mobile, be the one.
is, oh, the Vikendi special, but it's as a nice drop down, spray up.
At building, tries to get spray down into original, secures it. Is he going to go for the confirm? He tried the shots. The whole team shoots. There's going to be Piano Guy to pick that one up. Unfortunately for Assassin, that's the team out for GODL, going to be secured.
Oh.
And it is unreal stuff. All these players on the west side of the circle thought the circle was coming to them. Risky stuff now for ZFX Evolution as they try to frag out onto Rip, but it does not work.
Have made that early rotation, but in goes the fight. 8-bit start to rain it on down. They go out.
They go out. It's just going to be Indian Tigers wiping it on Vikendi.
Oh, the nade.
No. Wow, cartoons coming up, looking for the shots, the headshots.
Really, really good at biding his time. Gets one flush.
Wants to get the revive. I'm not sure he's going to be able to. Nick, he goes down to the blue.
And there's a long-range engagement. Rain could try and find something and a lovely spray.
Taking one of these compounds, SKUL do get eliminated.
Down, you can see the heal starting to come through. The spray, the cover is just not going to go well. Mavi falls.
Here comes the Insidious squad to wipe out DAKU, and they take the chicken dinner. Big fellas, spot pain.
Oh dear!
That was a lot of damage coming through.
On Sharko, risky, goes to the peak again. Evoke goes down, and once more, Evil Big Fellas, they still have a shout into the fight. It's Sharko to fall as well.
One more
and you've
member.
got Cave Sharko, one more to go, but it's just gonna eke it out. Pain.
That just keeps being the first to be knocked here, John. It's really unfortunate.
Oh, GODL, they just got eliminated.
Knocks that nade coming through
Oh,
from
Cold
Pain,
Blood.
Gold Blood. Will it blow up on top of them all?
It's just there. He is
just
going to get
there.
They're all starting to get back up now. The ZFX has the micro Uzi. They're pushing. They're caught unawares, but he's not able to turn it on just in time. Point by GodsReign.
Oh, the nade.
The
no
nade
Demon
through
King.
for Demon King is going to get taken out, and that is ZFX. It's going to go right next to the shack. It's going to land inside. Oh, what a huge nade!
Trying
Manu's
to push
still in the
out.
building.
Manu is in the building, but he's going to get pushed by Insidious
There's
around
the
the corner.
trade.
Here comes Twister, trying to find the spray down. Can he get it? Going for it. Omen gets the knock.
This
Couple
is
of knocks
Headshot
coming
Valley
through.
Circle. He's getting a lot of damage chucked his way as well, but he's doing a lot of damage in return.
There it
There's
is.
2 downs.
From Cave. Gonna knock it flying. Now the push comes out and it's gonna be Smokey sprayed down. Evo inside. Can he get it? Wow. Inside the hangar and he's gonna get sprayed down by the rest of the board. Can't survive. He wants to go for it. He's peeking for it. A and B go for the spray. Patel. Can he get Dip Tag as well? 10 going for the 3 kills. Gets 2. Dip Tag last man standing. 10 goes
Oh, he
for
gets it.
10 gets the triple. Wiping out Pain Retribution.
We are back with the India region of the PMCO 2019. My name is John Allen. I'm back with Dowsey. We're into the semi-finals. We had a great day yesterday, some great performances coming in, and we've got much more for you today.
Absolutely. Semi-finals are where it's at. This is where 24 teams compete for the top 16 positions to make it to the regional finals in their region. Look at this, I'm spinning.
Let's have a spin.
We're having a spin off
Let's go
here.
for a spin. Okay, no, my chair stopped there. That's all you're getting.
You might
get a little side angle, but that's it.
That's pretty sexy stuff there, John.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, maybe I'll keep it under wraps.
Do you know what else was sexy?
fine.
Yesterday, we saw Team Insidious just absolutely wipe out competition across the board. Back-to-back chicken dinners and a 3rd place as well, topping out the standings at 113 points. They topped out the group stages as well.
It certainly did.
It's just marvelous stuff to see them come into this and really just put up huge performances.
Yeah, you can see here's the points distribution for each of these games going forwards, as it has been, so it shall continue. 30 points for that juicy little chicken dinner. The distribution of points means that staying in late is the name of the game. Those top 5 spots, highly coveted.
Absolutely. This is the PUBG Mobile Club Open, where you are rewarded for your ability to survive into the late game. The kills are nice. They're a bit of an extra bonus on top of your points.
They're the rice or the mashed potato next to the chicken dinner.
Okay.
That's what they're looking
I
for.
feel like the rice is your fundamentals. That's your placement. But, I mean...
Do you think?
Yeah, maybe we just don't eat the same food
Honestly,
correctly.
these metaphors are just going pretty crazy. But I'll tell you what, we did have some pretty crazy games going on yesterday as well. Here are the groups from the group stages.
Sure.
So a lot of these teams will have gone home. Most notably, Ninjas in Pajamas has changed their name to Indian Tigers.
Yep.
So they are no longer known as NIP.
And Floor Official as well have changed their name to MegaStars, and we're going to be seeing them today here as we jump on into the action. But, you know, lots of great teams here, recognizable teams from across the Indian region. And today we want to try and tell those stories and really see how they shape up. Because as you expect when you
condense the competition down, John, it becomes more fierce, basically.
Absolutely.
People just, they're constantly fighting against the best players. It's getting harder and harder to really stand up above the crowd. And yet we're seeing it time and time again from teams like the Indian Tigers, formerly known as Ninja Pyjamas, as you said. We're seeing it from Team Insidious as well. And now introducing Group C to the mix as well. We've got Team India coming on in, as well as Learn from Past, who had massive performances during the group stages.
Do you know who else we're going to see today? Oh, it's Team Seoul. You got it right, baby. Let's go. Of course, you saw what maps we're going to be playing today. We're going to be playing a game of Miramar, quite notably. So we'll be seeing how that goes on. But first, we're over onto Vikendi. First, you're cold, then you're hot, then you're whatever Erangel is. I guess a little bit humid, maybe a little bit frigid. But
it's pretty sunny most of the time.
Yeah, that's all right. It's all right.
I tell you what I miss about Erangel was the fog.
Yeah?
Remember the fog?
I don't want to, really.
I mean, I loved it. The VSS in the fog. Pretty fun.
Man.
Pretty
that
fun
was pretty difficult. But you can see 4 maps again today, groups A and C clashing. A lot of teams that have yet to play will be able to get a real good feel for how they're going to start to stack up with each other.
Yeah, so Team Insidious, as we mentioned, came out strong in day 1. After topping out the group stages, they've come into the semifinals and just dominated the action. Closely behind them is the Indian Tigers, who I felt in the group stages were a little bit understated by the other teams, but they've really worked on their stuff here to come into the semifinals as strong as possible. What I want to know is how they stack up against the top dogs from Group C, most notably Team India. A bit of rivalry as well between Team Insidious and Team India, because these are people who've played under the same clan before, so they're all friends, really friendly as well. It's a friendly rivalry, but now they want to try and dominate each other, which is always fun. So we're going to have to see how Scout and the boys from Team India can put up against Team Insidious. And really, it's the name of the game is rotations for these guys. They're studying the circles and trying to figure out how they can get the best positions against each other to then rotate into the late game.
Yeah, and we'll have to see who's going to have those superior rotations. Are they going to try and, crash into a compound full of 6 teams again?
Yep.
Maybe not. Hopefully not. For Team Insidious, who went out in 15th after a really strong first 3 maps. Their final one wasn't too strong. But someone I'm also going to be paying attention to today, Team ISO, or ISO. They had a really, really strong final showing in the group stages.
Absolutely.
They managed to push all the way up to 9th place, and they were down really in the dregs of the 20s just prior to that. So really, really strong show from them. Will they be able to continue? Obviously, it seems like they will have learned a little bit from those previous days, but we'll be able to check them out. Here we have the standings. So these are results from yesterday, of course. There will be some teams with 0 matches played, so they will be on 0 points. But these are the 16 teams that did play yesterday. And as you can see, topping them out, it's Team Insidious on 113.
It's huge as well. That's like almost 40 points ahead of 8-Bit, the next competitors, 8-Bit from Group B, so we won't be seeing them today. But Indian Tigers are there as well, just 1 point below. Rip Official is a pretty standout team as well, John.
Absolutely.
They were kind of middle of the pack during the group stages.
13th.
Yeah, and then yesterday they just performed above and beyond what we expected from them. And so we're going to see them again today. Really going to have to figure out whether or not that was just a fluke. Yeah. Maybe, they got some good circles going for them, because very notably in the last match of Erangel yesterday, or Erangel I should say, they got Grandma's house and they just held it for the whole circle. And so sometimes you have to wonder, is that just circumstance? What we want to find out is if it's consistent, if this is really something they've been working on.
We'll have to see how they're going to stack up today against the other teams who have yet to play. HYDRA, obviously, in there, very strong team. Consistently, they've been the name on the tip of our tongue, making sure that they have placement within the circle and have been getting it done. Yeah,
but not as strong of a performance yesterday from them. So it's something that they're hopefully for them, they'll be wanting to turn that around.
And as well, talking about not so strong performances yesterday, look down in 15th place. That's coming soon. They really had a bad day yesterday. It was not what you wanted to see. Only 33 points accrued. That's not the sort of standard we expected coming out from them.
And so thankfully for coming soon, they do get a day to, I guess, do their homework, check the VODs, check the comms, figure out what's going wrong for them. They'll be playing tomorrow. We'll see them not today, unfortunately, because I would have loved to continue that story. But like you mentioned, from 5th in the group stages down to 15th after their first match day of the semifinals, it is fairly shocking for them. But like we mentioned, it's the teams on the next screen that we're really looking forward to seeing. It's the teams from Group C who haven't played yet, trying to figure out how they mix and match, because these standings are only limited to Group A and Group B now because we've only had one day of semi-finals so far, John.
Yeah, GODL, they're not doing well either. They were placed 17th in the group stages. They're now down at the bottom of the leaderboard for people who have played. So really, again, people need to pick up their feet, but it is very, very early days. Of course, each of these teams will be playing 16 maps over the course of these semi-finals, over the course of these 2 weeks, and 6 days. And we'll be seeing what they're coming in. But here are the teams that have yet to play. We'll be seeing a lot more from them. Obviously, people excited about Team Seoul, Mortal and the gang are back once again to ride onto your screens.
So I'm really interested to see if Team Seoul have adapted, because I feel like their group stages were quite disappointing, especially to all the Seoul fans who, I mean, Team Seoul have had standout performances in previous tournaments in India, right? And they have very famous players like Mortal, who, you know, has a huge following online. So as we jump onto Vikendi, John, it's time to see if them and the rest of the gang can really get their chicken dinners on the board.
First plane going to be on a southwesterly cut. Isolating Cosmodrome a little bit more difficult. We saw that it was zoned in towards there yesterday, so we'll have to see if they're able to have a similar set of rotations. It all depends on this first circle. Let's see where people start to drop. At the moment, it looks like Learn from Pastor, some of the early players to be getting on out. Insidious, a little bit towards the center of that cluster, so they might be looking towards Villa, maybe moving over towards a little bit further and seeing what they can get there. Maybe even heading to Castle.
We haven't seen anyone drop Castle yet, so I would love that. Let's get it.
Wow.
That's a huge shift over towards the east for the circle here, and Team India are straight on into it. Really lucky for them to, well, I say lucky, you know, that they land in similar places every game, but the circle has come to them immediately. And so for Team India here, they will be able to loot up quite comfortably for the first 2 phases of the circle, realistically, and then decide where they want to rotate to. But there's a lot of teams up to your west here, John, most notably in Dobro, Retribution, Pain Retribution, going to have to make the furthest rotation into the circle here. We'll have to see if they make it quickly or if they decide to loot and then move with the blue. Indian Tigers and 8-Bit going to be contested in the same location here, so we'll get cameras on them pretty quickly. Quite a few teams, all in the central area of the map. Brawlers, PixL Spades, Rip Official, and SWAT very close to each other here, which always makes me nervous for the rotations. But then when we look at teams inside the circle, you have ISO, you have TEAMINSIDIOUS, and also DAKU, all fighting for control of Pavotsto. So that's also going to be a pretty hotly contested area. That's many named locations being contested by teams really early on into the game.
8-Bit, you can see they've already landed. They got themselves a nice little bit of a compound. Insidious, a little bit over towards that river, but DAKU on the other side of this town at the moment. Not going to clash too soon. I don't think anyone's going to want to try and take Insidious on, certainly. We'll see how they're able to perform. I'll be interested to see where both Tigers, Indian Tigers and Rip Official have managed to drop there.
They've landed right next to 8-Bit. We already saw a Matt from the Indian Tigers. No, not Matt.
8-Bit.
One of the players from, I think it was Marvi from Indian Tigers, taking a UAZ and moving it away from the town so that they can hold control of that. Already Insidious have crashed into DAKU. That's going to be the confirm really early on. That's so unfortunate for Gabba. Yeah,
that's DAKU taken down early. That's unlucky, but we'll see if they're able to pick up their feet. Still have 3 players remaining. We've seen teams win with less.
And look at this. Maximus Alpha here. You see them on your screens as we fade away to Insidious. Maximus Alpha really looking to put up a Retribution story here, John. They qualified through the semifinals due to a competitive ruling against AKHP, moved into that 24th position. But they're a team that have had fabulous results in the past. You know, 7th place in top Indian tournaments in the past as well. And so as far as they're concerned, they're a really solid team. They've got the history behind them. Now they have to prove it here. Not a good start for Seoul. Ronak gets knocked early by Rip, I believe it would be, and there's no one around. So that's just going to be him bleeding out, and unfortunately Seoul also losing a member quite early.
Yeah, that is actually really, really early. As you say, only 3.5 minutes in, and already 2 players have gone down. The Brawlers and PixL Spades pretty close to each other, but there's that cliff face, that seawall as well. I don't think it's a seawall. It's just a normal wall.
That's just a normal. It's a curved wall.
Looks like a seawall. It could be. But here we have Pain Retribution as well, looking to be on that western side of the island, just looting on up.
Yeah, and like I said, they've got the longest rotation out of any of the teams into the snow circle. But of course, phase 1, you get plenty of time to figure that one out, John. You don't have to rush on into it.
Yeah,
they'll have vehicles as well to make their way over. ISO, we highlighted them in the pre-game ramble, John. one of the standout teams in the group stages because they were able to make such a huge push into the top end of the standings. I'd love to see if they can maintain that as we head into the semi-finals, because like we've already mentioned, semi-finals are where things get even tougher for these teams. Mortal currently overlooking ISO as the rest of Seoul move into their location. Bit of a contest here, and this is such a tricky area of the map to fight in. I really struggle this when I play myself, because there's just, it feels like anyone could be anywhere. These buildings allow for many different, I guess, entry and exit points. This is very scary for me, at least for the fact that we want to see a bit better of a performance from Seoul, but also for ISO here, they're really trying to prove they're a top dog here.
Well, they are both unproven quantities. That's
Sure.
the thing, because they haven't played yet. We haven't seen how they've been able to absorb the information that they will have been given through watching back those streams, watching back those VODs, and seeing what they can get done. So we'll see what else they're able to do. ISO give away their location now. Seoul thinking twice about crashing into this this copse of buildings, this hamlet, this small edge of town.
And it's really smart play from Seoul, because like we've mentioned many times in the past, unfortunately for Viper, he does get knocked out of the vehicle. Really smart move from Seoul. This is a placement-heavy tournament where you finish final results is where the points really lie. And so for these teams, they need to be getting themselves into the end points of the circle, I suppose. And if Seoul have lost one player already, and they're looking to lose another here, this could really hurt their chances. It looks like ISO want to punish this. They're pushing up, John.
Viper should be able to start the res. Mortal is there. He's ready and waiting in his beautiful little cowboy hat. Going to be getting up his partner in crime, Viper, seeing what they're going to do. That should be able to go through, but in the meantime, ISO have managed to spread out. They have that firing line. The question is now, can Seoul escape from these players just bearing straight on down on them? Viper pinned behind the tree, has to go for a little bit more of a heal, gets knocked again. That's the second knock. It's super dangerous now as he is going to start to bleed out, and with the Seoul players already rotating away from him, it's going to be so difficult to get to his position. Mortal trying to make the break, but fortunately Ninja runs out of ammo, but Sidhu, he's got plenty left in the clip.
This is not looking good for Seoul here. Two members already knocked here. It looks like Oasis just going to make the runaway. Mortal going to go out very early into this game as well. And across the board, we see Insidious crashing into RIP officials. So a lot of teams struggling in this early game. This is very unconventional of the Indian region. John, yesterday we were praising how good everyone from Groups A and Group B were playing the rotational game. They weren't looking to have these early fights, these early brawls. They were playing purely for circle placement and then trying to own the circle later on. We had like phase 6 circles with 10 teams remaining. This is such a stark contrast to yesterday's Vikendi.
But this is the thing as well, though. There's still 16 teams in it. We've seen some early brawls, but they're escaping with one team member, 2 team members alive. Obviously, it's not ideal, but they're staying in it. They are playing more for placement, and they're being conscious of that.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're definitely correct there with Oasis running from the fight, leaving his brethren to be taken out here. They certainly are doing it. Here's the replay of Insidious versus RIP officials, and you can see Mazix gets caught out, gets the knock onto Paratosh, and then I believe Legend peeks on through, or maybe even Tempest from above, and finds the knock in. There it is. They get Sky as well, so RIP officials kind of struggling out in that battle. That's going to hurt them quite heavily because of the fact that they're going to have damaged armor as well as helmets, and it's really difficult to upgrade those once you leave your looting locations at phase 1. So RIP officials could be behind the tempo here. Retribution getting sprayed upon by Team India and almost Hitman going down, but he survives.
Yeah, just about able to get on out of there. Obviously, a couple more vehicles as well available for Pain Retribution, but just over the road, you've got Maximus Alpha, and they're staking a claim to this location. You can see they've got their Darcia, they've got their rotation pass. There's a US not too far away from them, so they have got the vehicle locations. The first circle starting to close on in, and from here on out, it's going to be a lot faster in terms of the tempo of the map.
Certainly is. Phase 1, halfway through the rotation here. You can see some care packages dropping overhead as well. But on Vikendi, it's all about these compound control and where we can get ourselves into. AUG with that AR suppressor for a lucky team. Maximus Alpha receiving shots from Team India from across the compound. And Indian Tigers pushing on in.
They've already taken one down. They're spraying it on. They're going to give the knock back as well. But Carry pushes on, looking for the confirm, but goes down himself. King now on the flank, looking for the confirms. The Italian Tigers, as you call them, aren't going to be able to have any more roars in this one.
I'm so disappointed in myself, John. Every time I think Mario, pretty bad. He's just creeping into my head.
Yeah?
It's me! Indian Tigers! It's bad. I'm sorry, guys. I really do apologize because I really love the name as well, the Indian Tigers. Such a strong name.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for them, losing 2 players quite early on, not a strong start.
Rip Official as well, placed very, very well yesterday. Seems that they're going to be able to have a little bit more impact as well today.
Yep.
The Brawlers, they've already lost 1 down. I don't think they're going to get too much more. They chose the wrong set of buildings to go towards.
Oh, no.
They're spinning around. They're doing donuts on the tarmac, and with it, INS, Insidious are going to have a little bit of a feast on that one.
What a rubbish rotation coming through from the Brawlers. What they do get here, I believe, is a rotate back to Dark, who got knocked, and so maybe they can resurrect him here, bring him back to life. Cut their losses just a little bit, but so unfortunate just on that bridge. Insidious and Rip Official popping shots at them. And yeah, they do get Dark up. So thankfully for them, silver lining, I suppose, John.
Yeah, we can see people starting to make their way towards that circle as everyone making that shift. You can see PixL Spades down in the southwest. That's where I'm really looking for them to crash into Rip Official. Up in the north, it should be pretty chill between DAKU and ISO. There's a little bit of a argy-bargy around just northeast of Cement Factory, but other than that, you should be pretty much fine. 8-bit with a very central location. Insidious still dueling it out with the Brawlers.
Very happy to just pop shots here. Smokey got that G36. Everyone loves the G36 here on Vikendi. Such a beautiful weapon for long-range taps as well as the spray downs as well.
Very strong, very strong.
You can see that circle has shifted very far towards the east here. Peshkovka, Cement Factory are your key locations, but of course with practically half the circle being water at this point, when we do shift over to phase 3, you can pretty much expect it to go nowhere else other than where teams currently are.
SWAT, yeah, SWAT Official there, really going to be where the circle's going to land. You've got GodsReign as well, as the Indian Tigers have their station there, although they are severely diminished in terms of their player numbers at the moment. You can see those care packages just dropping on down as well, and the northeast side of Cement Factory continues to be a hot spot as Insidious just clutch or clamp out the Brawlers on that bridge.
Certainly do. 8-bit have themselves a neat little position here, very close to where Team India and GodsReign are. GodsReign, another team that we should focus on just a little bit, John, due to the fact that they had a pretty good performance yesterday.
Yeah.
Certainly were able to push themselves into the top couple of teams, multiple matches in a row. Erangel really working out well for them. Erangel.
Erangel.
You're an Erangel.
Oh.
PixL.
Only with the Snapchat.
Chasing, I love it. Chasing Rip Official, who are making a brave swim. I don't think Raka noticed them under the bridge, which is really lucky for Paratosh here, but if Paratosh decides to shift from left to right, could be a little bit detrimental. These cross-water rotations are always very scary, and you can see that they're crossing on to Castle Island, and then they'll have to make another push off Castle Island. Insidious, they're saying hi to Soul Oasis, but he's going to hide in this shack. He doesn't want to show his face.
He's channeling his inner Omen from that previous game on Team Insidious. You remember he was able to pop out and win it from the back on a really nice flank on the backstab. Playing from the shack is the speciality of Insidious. We'll see if they're able to do something similar.
Wow, they found another solo here. It's going to be Marvi from the Indian Tigers holding out in the kitchen, and I think if Marvi has his head screwed on, he will be as silent as possible in this compound.
He's taken his clothes off to prevent any rustling.
Question is, it looks like they're scouting out as a squad. They may feel someone's here. Yeah, they do. Push on in. That's going to be the knocks coming through, but of course you can just peek it as a squad and get rid of Marvi. Indian Tigers go out in 16th.
Not the performance they were looking for. 3rd place from yesterday. They got decimated a little bit early on in this map, so it is unfortunate that they did go out in this fashion. But there's still plenty more maps to play. We'll see what they're able to do in the future. But Team Insidious, you know, we talked about them quite a lot. Smokey, the IGL, really putting in some strong calls, some strong rotations, and that's really the difference we've seen. They've been decisive in making those rotations in a way that they weren't quite doing earlier on in the group stages.
Definitely notable the way they cleared that compound as a squad, made sure that it was clear before setting up in it. Makes a big difference. Here's the PixL squad trying to rotate over, but Rip Official have made it onto Castle Island. And they're going to hold the push. 2 members knocked already. Phoenix trying to spray down on the bridge, but he gets popped very controlled from Tempest there with the G36. And only 1 man standing for PixL Spades. They're going to be under fire here. It's Rain in the... I think he's on the other side of the water. No, he is in the water, actually.
Yeah.
And so he's going to have to try and push on up towards where Rip Official are, and I can't imagine that's going to be successful.
And this next circle again, just pushing
Wow,
in.
it's actually on the water again.
Yeah, that's,
wow.
That's kind of interesting. I guess that, well, I mean, it's the 4th circle that always does the hard shift away from water, I believe. So it's just going continuously east. And what this means is it's going to severely reduce the amount of ground that these teams can do and prompt earlier engagements.
Yeah, for sure. It can basically brings us a phase ahead of the action. It's currently phase 2, but you could really call it phase 3 because of the fact that the circle is 50% water. That's going to be really difficult for these teams to navigate. You can already see that they're starting to clump up here. Everyone really close to each other, and they're going to get even more so. What I do like so far, as we've seen on that map overview, is that the teams are quite spread, actually. And so the way they're rotating into the circle here is really good for them.
At the moment, a lot of these teams, well, all of these teams pretty much, they're still in it, apart from obviously the Indian Tigers going out early. They all have their little storyline going on as well. There's a redemption arc coming in from Maximus Alpha. We'll have to check in on where they are in just a moment. So I'm really going to be looking towards their rotations to see if they can just deserve that 24th place spot to just about get in. That's really, you know, it's a proving themselves kind of deal at the moment.
What I want to see here is if Rain can upset Rip Official. Currently in the blue on this phase 3. Happy to tank it up for a little bit. Is he going to wait for Rip Officials to rotate? Is he going to try and pop some shots? Rain basically playing solo game here to try and keep his team in it as far as placements are concerned. And yeah, it is going to be the spray down. He gets 1 knock onto Sky, looking for the second onto Tempest, but he's not going to find it. And this probably is Rain just going out now. Revealed himself and out. It's going to be Legend, or Paratosh, sorry, to catch that one. 14 teams remain here. Unfortunately for the Rip Officials, sorry, PixL Spades not putting up a strong early performance here in the semifinals.
No, their first showing, unfortunately, is going to be cut short. They go out in 15th. So it is both the MegaStars just started.
Who are the MegaStars, John?
They are actually the renamed Floor Official.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if anyone's wondering who MegaStars are, Floor Official renamed to them. Ninjas in Pajamas renamed to Indian Tigers, and quite some time ago, Team Apex renaming to 8-Bit. Well, actually, I say renaming, being picked up by 8-Bit,
yeah.
One of the only dedicated mobile esports organizations in India, as far as I'm aware. So it's pretty big honor for them to have a team that is represented in one of the largest esports competitions in the world for mobile esports.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. Obviously, it's the early stages of it at the moment, being the Indian regional, but you're looking forward, you're looking at the regional finals, you're looking towards that global stage and a stake in that $2.5 million prize pool.
Here's Team India. Everyone knows Team India. Star power from so many different clans put into one. Didn't have the best performances in their early spans as a team, but so far here in the PUBG Mobile Club Open have come out strong with a 3rd place in the group stages. They're really just hoping that they can prove themselves here in the semifinals, the regional finals. Because as far as they're concerned, you know, they've done well in the past, but now they have to really rectify themselves. This circle is being so unfair to these teams. Still 40% water, and everyone having to rotate in. Insidious going to crash into GodsReign and 8-Bit Brawlers as well. We got the solo player of Oasis for Soul, who's going to have trouble. DAKU somehow always getting the circle. It's a bit of a lucky thing for them, but here come the MegaStars crashing on into SWAT.
They are just seeing what they can get done. Obviously, they made the early rotation, very smart on their part, but SWAT standing in their way. Are they going to be able to hold the line, or will the wall be broken? MegaStars trying to make their push now. Deepak is first contact with them. They've managed to take control of the corner of this compound so far, which means that they have got a little bit of cover. But SWAT, they still have a very firm claim to this position. Going on for now.
I think they're just going to set up in separate houses here, John. MegaStars going to have one to themselves, whereas SWAT is a little bit more spread out. Oasis really just hugging the circle here, very close to the Brawlers, but they haven't spotted each other as far as we can tell. Here come the Team Insidious rotation as they rotate very close to SWAT and MegaStars here, but they're going to just go past. these early rotations, or sorry, not early, like the Phase 4, Phase 5 rotations is where we see many teams drop. TeamINSIDIOUS, they don't have a compound to themselves, so they're going to be playing the terrain, which I love to see when teams are comfortable doing that, and I feel like there are only a few teams in the competition who feel very comfortable playing terrain. I
think specifically for the Indian region as well, that's kind of what we're seeing. They favor buildings, they don't like terrain play, they like to stick to playing inside those compounds. But when you give them a bit of terrain, if they can learn to adapt to it, that's really where it's going to sort the men from the boys, and it should be able to put TeamINSIDIOUS on top if they're able to hold it down. You can see they've got themselves a little bit of a shack. Why is Omen not in there? That's my question.
Omen's the shack main.
He's the shack main.
Yeah.
It's
dedicated role.
Absolutely. Shack dweller, shack inhabitor. Shack camper?
No,
shack main?
Never a camper.
No? Okay.
Not in competitive play. You're a camper in pubs, but in competitive play, you're a smart guy.
That is certainly true.
Whoa,
Up towards the north side, you can see, obviously that's the compound that's closed in.
Yep.
INSIDIOUS have their own position. GodsReign have their own position. This next circle is going to be super interesting for me as it makes that huge shift. Again, DAKU inside it, but look at where Maximus Alpha are. They are so slap bang in the center that position is going to go very, very well for them. Team India with a good shout in it as well.
Yeah, as we move into Phase 6 here, it's going to be 8-bit Brawlers and RIP officials all struggling for position here. Mega, Retribution, SWAT, and INSIDIOUS, as well as GodsReign, really close to each other. We might even have about 4 teams lose their lives on this next rotation here. Ooh. Nades being thrown over by 8-bit towards Frost. Does get the tag. Ted's lining up a second here, trying to get it onto Frost's head. There it goes.
He's looking for it. There's a smoke being laid out. Oh, lovely shot. Coming on down. That's going to get the knock. The smoke has already bloomed, though. The team were ready and waiting with those. In the meantime, on the coastline, you've got ISO and Learn From Past starting to give them each other a little bit of jip.
Oh, that's a good nade.
Going on forwards. That is a very good. It's a Molotov, so that's going to push them forwards, which means that Learn From Past can start to peek on out and go for those shots. You can see a lot of damage being knocked on down. That Molotov will finish off Avi as well, as it is Ninja who is the sole remainder in that position as we flip over on the western side.
Yeah, SWAT's trying to get out of this compound here. All these teams trying to push into the circle. ISO continuing the frags onto Learn From Past, but Learn From Past has the premier location. DAKU, just to the north of them, may look to third party if they can get angles on ISO, which puts them in a really tough position. And when we switch back over to the other side of the map, it's GodsReign trying to take this compound from 8-bit as the rest of the teams try and push past it into the deeper circle.
Learn From Past can invest some nades now, or they can save them from later, so I'm not too surprised to see that they aren't just raining down hell from above, because later into the circle is going to be so much more important. Very close to the coast.
Goodness.
It's not that difficult, but in go SWAT, they're trying to push on into Pain Retribution's territory.
Yeah, and so we saw this yesterday, 8-bit trying to push on into a compound that's already occupied, and tends to be the team downstairs has a slight advantage because they leave the compound, and leaves Retribution having to play a game of patience a little bit, which can be tough in these rotations. As we see 8-bit and GodsReign crashing into each other. Matt gets the first knock. This fight's still breaking out between ISO and Learn From Past in your bottom screen, but it looks like 8-bit are pushing onto GodsReign here. Ashrain down onto Mano OP, gets the knock for himself as well. Twister and Shazam, last man standing. 8-bit take the building. 2 knocks, unfortunately for them. Can Ash keep this one alive for 8-bit, John?
They don't have the circle timing as well. 30 seconds is all that's going to remain as the circle does come in for the next shift. The more pushing coming through, and that's 8-bit eliminated, going out in 12th there. As GodsReign, they will stand just about 3 knocks and very low health HP on Saksham.
Minute and 14 seconds to figure this one out for GodsReign. They've got plenty of time. They do have to worry about Team India down the hill for them. SWAT still struggling here as this push comes through from Retribution, but Rain will be secure here, just leaving the last member of SWAT to clean things up, but I don't think he can hold it. That's going to be Retribution taking their 2-story back, and now they have to leave and find new areas of the circle to push to. ISO somehow managed to keep all 4 members alive as they push away from this fight with Learn From Past, taking a route towards the new circle, all in vehicles as well, is dangerous. Shots come through from Maximus Alpha trying to take them out.
So let's take stock of our teams to watch right now. INSIDIOUS, they are over towards that northern side. They're going to have to make that southern push. They are split up at the moment. You can can see here's how many teams are still in it. A lot of them still very, very strong as ISO start to get fired on out of the frying pan into the fire, and it's Rip official to start the throw of those bullets down the range.
Yeah, ISO in so much trouble here, and that's going to be the confirm coming through onto Avi. Lots of teams with 4 team players remaining here as Learn From Past crash on into Team India's compound. Looks like they're going to lose quite a few members here. Is it only Encore left alive? It is. Encore, last man standing, trying to keep things alive. Team India, though, having to contest with other teams from across the compound, but they will wipe out Learn From Past. 9 teams remaining, John, in Phase 6.
Yeah, and of course, Maximus Alpha, a decent position there, but Team India really are the ones we're looking at right now. Very, very central. That western side of the hillside is a really dangerous push, as Maximus Alpha have position as well.
Yeah, it's going to be Team India holding the circle for now. It is in a bit of a valley, so all teams can look towards them, but they've got the broken walls to deal with here. Team India looking to put up the first big performance here on Vikendi. Their first match of the semi-finals. If they can hold this compound, they certainly can do it. Rip trying to take out the members of ISO who are trying to push into a better position. You can see Maximus Alpha being approached upon by MegaStars here and really struggling to try and push on into the circle. But as we see this Phase 6 starting to close out, it will really be a testament to where it twists to. The twists and turns, I guess, of
Insidious
PUBG.
have been eliminated in the north by Pain Retribution.
They have, you're right.
Yeah, I think that happened whilst a lot of the action was going down. Obviously now Team India, really the prime targets for our attention moving forwards here. They have that central spot. Is anyone going to be able to crash into them? Anyone going to be able to take it from them? Not too sure about it, but DAKU now coming under fire. 2 downs already and 1 going out. I think DAKU just eliminated.
Yeah, DAKU's out now. Maximus Alpha here. Rip official also losing their lives as well. 2 team knocks coming through as Retribution gets sprayed upon by Maximus Alpha here. Lots of members from Retribution going down. I think there's only 1 man standing for Retribution. 7 teams remaining. We've got a minute to look at the new circle here. I say that. Rip. Great angle onto GodsReign, and there's going to be quite a few members eliminated. I think GodsReign have the biggest push as well. It's shifted over towards the east where Maximus Alpha and MegaStars are posted. Both teams that want to put up big performances and prove themselves here in the group stages, and they've got the circle to do it.
Rip, they're in a decent position as well. That southern side of the circle, a little bit less occupied at the moment. The main fight's on the west and the east.
Yep.
North, a little bit more cleared out as well. You can see there's some decent spots going on. At the moment, MegaStars have the best position, but this compound doesn't offer too much cover. There's not too many rotations you can make, and if 2 teams crash into you at once, you're going to be a real bloody sandwich.
Looks like Team India are ready to make their rotation. With that knock onto GodsReign, they don't have to worry too much about being shot, because the revive is coming through. Godmanu gets up Twister. The shot's now being sprayed down. The rotation a little bit slow from Team India. Still 18 seconds left here as Twister gets himself some heals. The shot's still coming through from Paratosh from the south. Like you mentioned, 9 seconds until this circle pushes in and everyone's going to be wanting to crash on into the MegaStars compound.
ISO still with a shout on it. They've still got a player left live and kicking for now. The moment Pain Retribution with the most isolated position up in the north, pretty much on their own. These compounds, though, these dueling positions coming out, mean that Maximus Alpha are going to have to make their move relatively soon. As these shots start to come on through, they can try and rely on some third-party assistance.
Smoke's coming out. Here comes the crosses. Pain Retribution looking to get wiped out by Team India here. Scout looking for the confirm, and he's going to find it. GodsReign out in 7th. Paratosh gets sprayed on down as well by ISO, and that leaves 5 here. Retribution in Darcy's Hitman on the ground, pushing on in, snaking it up as A and B gets caught out by Team India.
Isn't going to get downed, though, so he's still alive. He can snake it around behind the Darcy.
Big frag.
Big frag coming in,
That's
looking to go for it. Right, might be right on top of Hitman.
It is.
Does get a chunk of his HP, but not going to knock him down, and that's the crucial part. And we'll see that is going on as well. Over on the eastern flanks, you've got a little bit more as well to come. It should be Maximus Alpha able to hold in this compound for now. But look at that shift straight onto Team India.
Yeah, this is disastrous for Maximus Alpha's MegaStars, who thought they had the compounds, but now it's Team India behind this broken wall. They can hold out for now. big push is going to have to come out from these 4-man squads of MegaStars and Maximus Alpha across the circle, and you can see how split these teams are. Currently, Team India leading the kill charge, and they've got all 4 members alive as well. Can't say the same for ISO and Pain Retribution, but MegaStars, who've had a very quiet Eastern game, still 4 men are left, and that could be the crucial thing. If you have man advantage that you can push on in, maybe sacrifice a couple of knocks, John, just to get towards the compound, get to safer ground.
What I'm looking at is how far is ISO going to go. Look at that coordinated throw from the nades of Maximus Alpha. They're just going to smoke their approach and completely blind MegaStars to their location. You can see, yeah, that's just going to completely give them beautiful cover moving on forward. You can see Omega starting it out. The Darcy is there as well. They should be able to load it up.
Retribution spraying towards Team India. Team India spraying back towards MegaStars. Here comes the push from Maximus Alpha through the smokes, but now they're in the open, and here comes the spray down straight on top of MegaStars, and these Darcyers are not long for the world. 2 knocks already onto Maximus Alpha. The rest of the guys going to be approaching on foot. You can see King there trying to get on in, but he's going to get sprayed down as well. Only 1 man standing for Maximus Alpha as MegaStars are patient on the draw and punish Maximus Alpha for the quick trigger finger. They can just leave 1 man standing here, Leo, to hold the edge.
ISO's still in it. He's still there. Still just crawling around, but the rest of the teams, they're fighting tooth and nail for control of the best spots right now.
Ooh, that's
everyone taking casualties at this stage, but Team India now with the only person with a down.
Kratos here, so close to Scout OP. He could play spoiler to Team India, who we thought had the circle this entire time. Trance is knocked behind the broken wall. He's not going to get anything done. Trying to spray towards Scout OP, reveals his location, doesn't get the knock. That's going to be ISO eliminated by Kratos, and we're down to 2. MegaStars versus Team India to try and take Vikendi.
3 players alive for MegaStars, 4 for Team India. Team India, one of the strongest going forwards, as they do manage to get the knock. 1 down, of course, for Team India, so only 3 up, and they are starting to take more heavy casualties. MegaStars really having a really strong go at it.
Yeah, MegaStars are spread here, and there's 2 knocks already for Team India. Scout, OP, and Trance are not in this fight. That just leaves 2 members for Team India behind the UAZ, and the smoke is dispersing. That's going to be Shadow close to the action. If Team India can take down Shadow, then they can convert this into a 2v2 and have a real shot at it. We're in Phase 9, and Phase 9 means the circle closes completely, and it's going to close towards MegaStars as well. So realistically, Team India need to take Shadow down, and they do.
They managed to get the position. They have already lost 1 going down as well. Now it's just Kratos left in a 1 versus 2, and I think they might have spotted him out. Nope, they're just going for the pre-fire. Now MegaStars, they need to have the bead on. Of course, that down teammate can give them a little bit more information. You can see they're going to have to finish Shadow off before they go any further. And now it's just Kratos, last man standing for Team India, has the cover.
He has the cover, but the circle's pushing onto him. He has to make the move. It's going to hurt here. He's behind the tree, but it's not going to work. MegaStars coming in as they take the chicken dinner on Vikendi.
Someone we haven't really been paying too much mind to, but they come in out swinging from the gates. They, of course, put in a great performance. The previous floor official coming out, and they were positioned, I think, out of the group stages. They were in 15th before, so going up against some of the stronger teams in the tournament, that's the sort of way you want to start out your semi-final run. But look at the number of kills that Team India were able to rack up. They're going to have a really high-scoring game on their hands, and the rest of the teams a little bit lackluster, to be honest, on the kill front.
Yeah, I mean, we don't see TeamINSIDIOUS at all in the top 8 here, which is a shocker, considering their dominant performance yesterday on Vikendi and Sanok and Erangel as well. But Team India, they said they wanted to come into the semifinals, John, and really prove to us that they are a team that deserves the respect of India as a whole.
Absolutely.
And I think they've done that here to showcase that, yeah, on Vikendi, really strong start for them. Got a little bit unlucky with the circle shifts towards the end, but a 2nd place first game, really good stuff. Not to detract, though, of course, from MegaStars here, the floor official lads.
Yeah.
Rebranded, new organization, new semifinals, new me from MegaStars, you could say.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at some of these highlights from that game we just witnessed. Obviously, a lot of early brawls, as we were talking about before, Josh, and it really came down to a lot of teams losing 1, losing 2 players, and eventually getting closed out that way as they tried to hold on to the strands of their position.
Really, for the Indian Tigers here, a shocker of a performance. They're not able to convert yesterday's success into match day 2. We're going to have to see them try and flip that on its head Of course, Vikendi is very unknown still from a lot of these players. And so you're not getting quite the consistency as you may expect from a Erangel double dose. But, of course, all the same, these players are showcasing their fine ability to rotate. And I think that considering the early fights that we had, which is a little bit unusual for the Indian region, still many teams making it in towards that Phase 6, Phase 7 circle. I think 7 teams alive in Phase 7, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Which is a lot. It's very difficult to navigate that. Of course, a lot of those are solos or two-mans. But when you do have so many teams rocking up in the final phases of the game, it just means that you never know exactly where it's going to swing to. Could be a really solid spray down by an individual like Ted yesterday on Erangel.
Able to get a lot of damage done. The 3-man wipe from the back. Or like Insidious previously with Omen running out the shack and getting the backstab in. So we'll see what they're able to do in the next map, of course. But as you can see, a lot of these spray downs coming down from angles where it was a third-party situation because of the number of teams this late in the game. It made it pretty easy to get a lot of third-party impact moving forwards into the rest of this.
I mean, you see it there from MegaStars as they were patient in the rotation. Maximus Alpha are a little bit antsy. Of course, they had the longer distance to travel. And so MegaStars could afford some patience due to the fact that they didn't have the zone basically right on their backside. And so that patience was allowing them to take the fight with Maximus Alpha finally, which they were struggling to do quite a little bit before that, and wipe them out before they really had to contest that terrain in the final circles. And so when you can have a bit more patience in your game plan, John, really helps to allow you to consider your rotations, where teams are, and also for your in-game leader to develop essentially a plan to execute on. We're going to take out the team behind us, then we're going to push on in with the smokes that they've used. We know there's a team up to our north that we need to take care of, and once we've taken care of them, it's all southern teams. We don't have to worry about our back anymore, and once you do that, you have control of the circle. From there on, it's just all about your ability to stay stealthed and frag out.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's kind of the name of the game across a lot of these games, but it comes down to it. You do need to be able to do both, and these are what we're seeing from the top teams. Of course, the first map going over pretty well for them on Vikendi, so we're going to be seeing how they can perform on one of the biggest maps that are going at the moment. Obviously, Miramar is up next, something that we haven't seen, only one map from each of the teams so far in the tournament in the group stages. So Miramar, a little bit of an unknown quantity for a lot of these players.
Which is quite surprising because in PC PUBG, Miramar is such a known quantity for many of the tournaments, because you know in pretty much every tournament for PC PUBG, it's just a split between Erangel and Miramar. Here in the PUBG Mobile Club Open, we're getting so much diversity, and we're really having a huge focus on Vikendi, which is quite neat as commentators to witness, to see the strategies that are coming out. So I'm pretty excited because we consider Erangel a known quantity as far as the competition is concerned, and how teams rotate. There's no secrets left. Miramar is getting to that stage, I think, for a lot of the PC competition. I'm excited to see the mobile competition is up to scratch as well when it comes to the barren wasteland that is a Miramar.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what they're able to put up on the board. But as you can see on our head-to-head, MegaStars placing on in first, got 12 kills. But the top fraggers this time around, Team India with 13.
And look how much damage Team India put out, 3,169, which means they were constantly fragging and just spraying people down. And that really comes down to their position against GodsReign. They were able to constantly knock, re-knock against each other and really hurt their competition. Sometimes getting kills isn't what it's all about, John. Getting those continuous knocks, wasting meds, wasting armor can be just as effective as wiping someone out.
Yeah, but take a look as well at the rotation distances from these two teams. Team India pretty much stayed put for so long, whereas MegaStars had to go so far. They had to trek across the wasteland, and, well, in the end, it paid off. They came first.
Yeah, I mean, they did a large west-to-easternly rotation right across the circle to the eastern flank where they knew there would be less teams due to the original plane path.
Yeah.
Just keeping that in your memory, knowing where that plane did go, and trying, I guess, to reverse engineer where teams will be approaching from can be very useful as an in-game leader to really figure out where you need to end up in the circle. And so that's what MegaStars did. They did a huge western to eastern rotation across the northern side of Vikendi, allowing them to get premier zone location. And due to the way that the circle hard shifted to the coastline multiple times in a row, very unusual to see, it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, it was a really strong play from them. They made it work, and they had a really good position even in the final circle. They were able to get it done. If you want to get it done, you can head over and check out Vivo, the official smartphone of the PUBG Mobile Club Open 2019.
That is them. Really good piece of kit, as you mentioned, John. Of course, if you want to see more standings, all of the up-to-date groups for the semi-finals here in India and across the 6 regions, head on over to clubopen.pubgmobile.com, and there you can find all the news and all that information.
And if you want to see the things that cause the news, the highlights, the VODs, the action itself, you can head over to the YouTube channel, which is PUBG Mobile Esports, and you can hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, get that ring-a-ding-ding going, and see what you can get done there. Obviously, keeping up to date with our lovely selves, of course, John Allen and Dowsey. We've been having a great time so far. Of course, the first map of the second day is now packed in and done. We're going to be moving over on to Miramar next, and when we come back, we'll see how these teams are going to stack up on this relatively unknown quantity.
Vivo. Zombie, Darkest Night. The newest mode in the zombie universe is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding the skill will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
PUBG Mobile for free.
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with the pan. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane, you get into the zone. In PUBG Mobile, you all come from different walks in life. But you face the same dangers on the battleground. And you become friends. You work together to overcome the obstacles. This is PUBG Mobile. There's a number one in all of us. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile first anniversary party. PUBG Mobile, be the one.
We are back with the PUBG Mobile Club Open 2019. This is the India region. My name is John Allen. Dowsey on my left. We're having a great time so far. MegaStars able to clinch out the win with a great performance for their first showing in the semi-finals.
Absolutely. MegaStars, formerly known as Floor Official, coming out on top on Vikendi here.
Yeah.
And a very surprising first match of the day for this Group A, Group C matchup.
I've just got to move in.
That's all right.
I'm
Yeah,
off my mark.
just come
I've
closer. That's all right.
Been told off.
It's cool. I get it. I get it. We'll look at the standings here, and whilst we do, you guys can soak in the information. I want to talk a little bit because where were in Indian Tigers? Where were Insidious? Where were 8-Bit in that previous match? These are some of the top teams of the competition here. First, third, and fifth as far as standings are currently considered. They just didn't really perform to our expectations of them as teams on Vikendi. What did happen, though, was the surprising results of MegaStars coming first, ISO coming third, and Maximus Alpha hitting up fourth position. These are teams that haven't really had as much spotlight. ISO for sure, John. We saw them have a bit of a ramp up in the end of the group stages, but for Maximus Alpha and MegaStars, quiet group stages for them as well. So really interesting to see that fact that that you need to John, move to my left, all right?
I've got to move left.
Yes, you do.
I still have to move left.
And at this point, we're seeing that ISO are continuing this ramp up, basically, is the main story here. MegaStars and Maximus Alpha, if they can continue this I guess, performance that we've seen in the first match, then that's a great story for them. But we need to see that consistency. It's too early to really be calling.
Yeah, it's pretty early in the day, of course. Some of these teams only playing 5, only playing 1. You can see MegaStars there, beating out a couple of teams who have played 5 maps with only the 1 entry. So a really, really cracking start, as we were saying before. Everyone now starting to get on the board. Team India, really good as well. But Team Seoul, they went out pretty early on. Everyone was trying to look for where they are. They went out in 14th position that last game, so they do need to pick up the pace. Miramar, though, it might be the place to do it. A lot of these teams that maybe some people have the read on Miramar, they might not do, because, of course, it is relatively unknown as a PUBG Mobile quantity.
I mean, as far as these teams are concerned, they play each other a lot in many different tournaments in India, so I expect that due to their scrims, their other performances in other tournaments, they will be very familiar with Miramar as a map and be familiar with each other's tendencies on Miramar as well. I guess it's us, John, that are in the dark a little bit here, as the PUBG Mobile Club Open has only had a couple of showings of Miramar so far in the group stages. This is the first for the semi-finals. We're going to see a little bit more Miramar across the table as we do get deeper into the semi-finals. And whilst we don't necessarily have all the information available to us about Miramar, Miramar is such a known quantity in PUBG. So this is going to be really fascinating, I suppose, to witness these teams and how they do rotate, what places they decide to take.
Yeah, where they're going to decide to drop as well, because of course that's a really big factor in, you're making these decisions and you're thinking, oh, where can I go? Where can I, what am I going to do? Where am I expecting those rotations to come from? And that's what's sort of laid out in maps like Erangel, in maps like Sandhawk even. You kind of know where these players are going to be rotating from. But in Miramar, it's so big, it's so open, and you don't know where people are going to be going. So you have to really rely on having your wits about you, on being able to get the read on maybe where people are dropping and things like that. And your knowledge of the map is going to be crucial.
Yeah, Miramar has so many hills, so many cliffs and terrains that allow you for terrain cover. It's not nowhere near as heavy on your compound play, which is a bit of a stark difference for India as a region, because as we've seen on Sanok, on Vikendi, on Erangel, these teams really do favor their compounds over their terrain play, and some of the teams that struggle to play on terrain get taken out quite quickly in these smaller circles. Miramar's all about terrain play. It's very much so. There's very few compounds. It's such a vast wasteland of hills and valleys that you really need to understand the terrain and use it to make your rotations. And so a very different map as far as that is concerned, a very different play style as far as India likes. And this could be their weakness. It could be their kryptonite in PUBG. We'll have to find out, because it feels to me like it's a stark difference.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be much more difficult for them to adapt. If they can do it, fantastic. Obviously, we know they've been paying attention to regions where they do prefer that style of play. Particularly in China and SEA. That's where they're very, very strong. EU even is very happy to play on those terrain positions and see what they can get done. So if India can prove themselves here, then looking even forwards past the regional stages, past the regional finals for India, you've got that global stage as well coming in. So it would be nice to see how they can stack up there. And if they can get that terrain play under their belt, that's just one more notch to prove that India is number one.
For sure. Teams that I expect to do well as far as terrain rotations are concerned are TeamINSIDIOUS and Team India. They've showcased a really good knowledge of PUBG, zone prediction, and just general map rotation. Their in-game leading currently seems to be pretty crisp. When they've got their heads screwed on. I mean, TeamINSIDIOUS did kind of meme it up a little bit yesterday, but that was
just a little bit.
That was I guess maybe a little bit cockiness coming in due to the fact that they had performed so well. But now, as we jump onto Miramar, it all comes down to this. You can't afford cockiness. You have to be switched on and ready to play.
So it is a pretty central plane at the moment. They should just be relatively available to go to pretty much everywhere. Remember, Miramar, really very, very big, and it's got a lot of area to cover. So even though the plane is going down over that slightly central path, that eastern area is really going to be populated now. So you've got places like Camp Militar, and then moving down, Tierra Bronca can be coming on in. But I'm expecting hot drops to be coming in around water treatment and maybe even a little bit further south towards Picado, but not too much more below that.
I mean, I'm going to see some teams drop into Chimicera as well. At least a couple, I believe. We'll see how many do go there. People love it. Picardo, of course, is really good if you can get that early drop into Picardo, loot up, and then move away from it quickly. It can be a nice little anchor, but the issue with Picardo is you don't want to stay there. There's not really good exit routes. Quite a few people going out to the east as well, onto Los Leones
as well.
I can tell you've lived in Spain for a little bit, John.
That's true. Yeah, I'm gonna be. I apologize
really
for
nailing
my attempts at.
I mean,
Spanish
mine's
accent.
worse. I'm actually praising you here, John.
Sí, vale. ¿Por qué no? Vamos. Ento uno más. All right, so
I have no idea what you're saying.
Okay, fine. But basically, what I'm saying is Los Leones highly populated by two of the teams that we're paying attention to as well today. Insidious and 8-Bit need to pick up their feet, and if one of them gets knocked out early, that might be a little bit of a problem for them moving forwards. Of course, we're going to be keeping an eye on where Maximus Alpha are as well, where they're going to be dropping down, seeing what sort of ground they can get, and where they're going to be able to come back in, as well as ISO, who did pretty decently before, and Team India, of course.
Yeah. I believe it was the Brawlers who took the military camp up in the north. So they're going to have a lot of loot available to themselves. That first phase, I missed it actually. But it does look like it's clipping Los Leones here. So fairly central.
Yeah, it should
circle.
be. Yeah, it should be pretty easy for a lot of these teams to rotate, given the plane path as well.
Yep.
Everybody's going to be within striking distance. Although it's a little bit difficult, of course, if you're rotating over this terrain, you need to make sure you have a decent path because it's pretty tricky to actually navigate it. It's very, very bumpy, very hilly, and those vehicles, whereas in maps like Erangel or even in Sandhawk, you can just sort of razz it through. You need to be a little bit more careful here. You need to be aware of where those cliff faces are because those drops can be fatal.
Certainly can. With 3 teams around this Los Leones area. Makes things interesting to see if they decide to stay in the urban terrain or if they move immediately out towards more central terrain. I think on Miramar, I prefer to leave my rotations later and not rush them. I would prefer to essentially move out into higher ground first and then move away from it.
I think that's pretty accurate, and I think that also plays into the point you were making earlier, Dowsey, about how Miramar is a lot more terrain focused, because the idea of rotating early is to be able to take something like a compound, something along those lines. Obviously, rotating early is good anyway, but given that you won't always be able to get there first, playing that terrain is a lot more viable and potentially could be good here on Miramar.
Oh, the shotgun!
That's a double barrel.
The double barrel coming through from Marvin. He says, see you later, Deepak. You're out of here immediately. SWAT going to lose a member very early on here.
Indian Tigers, one of the teams that went out pretty early on, pretty devastatingly as well for them. Really wasn't the greatest start, so they're coming out swinging. They're making it happen.
Here comes the rotations. There's Rain taking a bit of fire here. Struggling.
Two
Two
down.
knocks, though, for SWAT. That's going to be Prince
no.
and Marvi wiped. No, Sayum and Prince wiped, I should say. Carry is there. Marvi shoulder picks. Okay, Marvi. How are you going to play this one?
They are going to push on through. Carries there, gets them down onto Original. There's 2 players remaining for SWAT. Trying to go for the flank. You've got Rain up in the building, trying to go for the peak, but gets downed again. Carry is there. He's flinging out the bullets, making it the last one as well. All 3 go over to the Indian Tigers, and they wipe out that village.
All 3 go to Carry as well. What a standout solo performance in that fight, and he had to make it due to the fact that Marvi was only playing with the double barrel and a Kar 98 on the back, I believe it was. Didn't have that auto fire to be able to take those fights. Made it work for the Indian Tigers. SWAT going to be eliminated in 16th position very early on. Not the start they were hoping for here on Miramar.
A lot of these teams can be very, very spread out here on Miramar. You don't need to be dropping hot. You can just go for a completely different area. Because, of course, it's so big, it's so spread out, there are a lot of different places you can go. And even though we saw a lot of people drop into Los Leones, it really didn't make that much of a difference there, because they can just have all of that, all of these buildings to loot anyway. There's enough for at least 2 teams, if not 3, to be moving through here and come out fully kitted. So they shouldn't be having to clash this early on. And you can see that's exactly what's happening between Insidious and I believe that was team number 5. I have to check which team that actually is. I believe it's 8-Bit. So they aren't going to be clashing too early on for them.
Yeah, and potentially, John, this is the unfamiliarity of Miramar as far as the PUBG Mobile Club Open is concerned, and where all these teams like to drop. bit of contests for locations, and you don't have the ability to change it up because you do only play one match of Miramar on any given day.
DAKU a little bit further south, near to El Pozo.
I love El Pozo.
Yeah?
It's my favorite drop location right there.
Yeah?
Yep. Always
have a
drop into the boxing ring.
Let's have a look at that replay from Carry. You can see he gets the knock onto Original Rain, tries to re-peek it. They don't have the flank on, and they just go for these single faces, and they really do get punished for it. You can see he's just able to take down all three.
Yeah, 3 1v1s for Carry there. Not quite the coordination you would want from a team of SWAT to be peeking at the same times and getting yourself those double takes, I suppose you could say. Really, as a team, in most FPSs, the way you want to do it when you have a man advantage is kind of a bit like chess. It's trading down your pawns, and so you both peek at the same time. It's very unlikely that the player is going to be able to spray both of you down, especially if you peek from different locations. And so, yeah, you're going to get one of your players knocked, but in PUBG you can revive them as long as you get that spray down, and so it's really important. Here we see ISO taking center of the map. Hacienda going to be their hometown. Moving on in. It's a deposit laid down. It's a nice little location.
Yeah, they're just chilling, everyone at the moment. These rotations really don't need to come on in because, of course, the map is still so big inside this first circle that there's very little chance of crashes. It's really just going to have to be a waiting game for a lot of these teams.
I'm a little bit worried for Team Seoul, who are still in Bacado. It's a very difficult location to leave once you are forced to, because it's basically surrounded by 2 massive hills. So Team Seoul, keep your eye out for them as this circle starts to tick down. And we want to see a big performance from them. They haven't had the standout performance that India is used from Team Seoul.
Yeah. Certainly not the one they want to see either. Maximus Alpha, though, they're on the eastern side of this circle currently. They're happy to just sit in their warehouses and make it work. Of course, MegaStars, previous winners, can they do it again?
That'd be amazing for them.
Certainly would. 1 map on the board, and already they've hit 42 points on that. They're looking to post up a very good performance again. Miramar, though, might be the place to do it. They can really certainly put a spanner in the works, but look at this.
Yeah, learn from past, are rotating past water treatment here. There's going to be RIP officials spraying them down. They're all in 4 vehicles. Oh no, Uncalled crashes and he gets knocked. Really punished. DAKU taking the fight to MegaStars on the other side of town, and you can see that MegaStars are struggling with the knocks coming through for DAKU here. Lancer getting 1.
Going to be able to get it. Not too sure if they're going to be able to get any more. You saw Learn from Past, they did get the flush onto that rolling convoy, but I think the others will have managed to get away. This is disappointing, though, for MegaStars, because, of course, LED just completely isolated. The Mini 14, though, from the window is a super strong position.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing for MegaStars is that they're all in different apartment blocks and have good height. So as long as they've got a bit of range on their weaponry, then they actually can continue to take this fight and keep Ted alive with a bit of Overwatch El Pozo here. You can see Ray Hill has spotted out Shadow, but look at AN all the way up there, trying to get onto the roof of this apartment block via the fire escape here. And then if he's able to, then he'll have a huge amount of overview of this general fight, feed Shadow information.
But the thing is, Leo is bleeding out this whole time.
Yep.
If they don't make their move soon, he's just going to go down. That's going to take a little bit of damage, but they are going to sacrifice it. Shadow making the wide rotation. This is bold, and you can see Leo going to get confirmed by Rahil with that Mini 14.
And now MegaStars will just back on out towards the west of El Pozo and try and find a vehicle on that westernly flank so they can make their rotation into the new circle, which just got revealed to us. 8-Bit Ted leading the squad of 8-Bit through Los Leonos. Insidious look like they're climbing into a vehicle, and they're going to make a rotation early as well, so we won't see a crash from them. Here's ISO, and we want to keep our eyes on them. They've had a really neat performance so far, showcasing that their group stage day 4 to 5 performance, I think it wasn't a fluke.
No.
It is just actually really good team development, you could say.
Yeah, they picked up a solid 24 points in the previous game. Getting 19 from placement, 5 kills. Really strong coming out from them. But still over towards water. You've got the Learn from Past boys. They managed to get away. Yeah, this is the thing, though. This next circle isn't going to be too quick because it's very central. The loot is going to push them too fast, but in go DAKU, and they go for the trade. It's not going to go well. Lancer gets confirmed, and there's another down as well for a DAKU player. It is Khan to move on through.
Can't believe that Khan was able to keep Final Boss alive there. Huge play coming through from MegaStars. I'm so surprised to still see them here. The circle is approaching on. I guess they've got a vehicle here that they can try and take away. Question is, will DAKU continue to look for this fight before they can move away in their vehicle here?
There should be a lot of power, but you can see that DAKU, they do need to be getting on out as well. So we'll take a little bit of a replay. You can see that Final Boss sprays one down. Gabba actually leaps out of the window. Not too sure he wanted to do that. That felt a little bit like a misclick, to be honest.
No, I think he definitely did because it was the most direct route to get to Final Boss. The only issue is that he didn't really consider the fact that other members of MegaStars would be there to punish it as a general play. Here we see Team India now on top of the heels of Picado, and just as we see them, Soul roll out. So getting out of Picado before it's too late.
Exactly, and you were saying earlier how it's difficult to escape from that location for Team Soul. With a team like Team India especially in your way, that is one hell of an obstacle to be jumping on over. We'll see if they're able to get it done. But Insidious, they're pretty chill right now. A lot of these teams will have these isolated little compounds, little sets of buildings that they can just hold down and relax in because, of course, Miramar, so big, so expansive.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Team India on one side of Picado, Team Insidious on the other side, looking over from their hilltops, you could say. ISO still chilling in Hacienda here. They'll pretty much just look out until they're forced away, which could be now. Nope, Circle remains on them. Centered around San Martin, yep. Hacienda's still in it. The bottom of Picado is, but Insidious and Soul, Team India, GodsReign, and PixL, and 8-Bit all the way down south, all going to have to rotate into this new circle. You can see already on the northern side, Learn from Past are buying for a Hacienda push.
Hacienda del Patron. See who's going to be able to stand tall in there at the moment. I don't think anyone's really going to be looking to breach it. Those western hills within the circle are going to be prime territory at the moment, and I'm expecting this circle to actually be quite a violent one. Moving forwards, because there's so many teams looking to crash into these hills. But as we said before, there's a lot of ridges and a lot of terrain that can be played. Yeah,
I mean that the hilltops around San Martin provide a lot of excellent cover. Graveyard and the general area around that, lots of valley and difficult terrain, quite a wasteland in between those compounds. Currently, ISO are holding Hacienda against 2 squads. RIP officials were considering a push there, but now they've thought better of it, so now they're going to make their way all the way around, probably end up around Minas Generales. Here's Soul, and climbing up the hills of Picado, they're going to run straight into Team India.
They have moved around to the other side, though, for Team India, so shouldn't be too disastrous. They've gone a little bit further north.
One thing I would like to note is that when you do get to these later stages of Miramar, you drop your vehicles. Because everyone's camping on the hilltops on the terrain, you don't want to be making too much sound in your rotation.
These long shots coming up from Scout actually looking to hit the tires of GodsReign, and they have to maneuver just a little bit.
Soul just killed one of their players. They knocked him. They'll be able to get him up. Unlucky for Viper. Here's Marby spraying down on DAKU. Good shots connecting, and then he gets the knockout onto Sega here. Be able to confirm that kill. Unfortunate for DAKU to lose a member. That's their second to last member, only Rahil alive, and Marvy's actually dropped out. Is he wanting to fight against Indian Tigers? Carrie's stopped up on the road. He's going to spray Rahil down, and DAKU are out in 15th. Not sure I can really say anything about that play from DAKU, except it was uncoordinated.
Yeah, not the best, certainly. But they do go out. Now, Team India, they've posted themselves up just inside the circle, just north of Picado. Team Solar there as well. You can see Scout has the high ground at the moment. He's going to be on Overwatch as those pickup trucks do start to rotate on in. Insidious, they have a really strong position here. They've got a lot of cover. They can move around these buildings. They can pretty freely rotate, and those vehicles still useful in this current circle.
Yeah, just south of Graveyard. Looks like Nova King was hungry for that care package. Going to get himself that Groza. Nice stuff. I'll have to see how long these teams rely on their vehicles here. You can see Soul having trouble as they finally connected with Team India. A 1 solo member from across the hill. It's in fact 2. They've split here. And it's going to be knocked from down the hill whilst Scout can wrap around if they want to. Soul are pretty much dead. San Martin's the hill to play for.
That's brutal as well, because it's so hilly. It's so difficult for these teams on the east to rotate in. They need to make some really fast rotations now.
And not only that, Zen Martin only has 2 locations you can rotate onto. It's the northern side, up near the San Martin town, and it's the Picardo side, and you have to loop all the way around that hillside. The rest of it is cliff face, and because it's so high up compared to the Valley of Graveyard, makes things very difficult. Yeah, Trance is not quite going to be able to connect that nade. Currently, Team India in a really good spot, but they have to go through GodsReign, who is holding this scrapyard just north of them here. And I think for Seoul, they've got one of the more difficult rotations immediately, but anyone who's on the east is pretty much in a live or die scenario here, where they're going to have to cross over in vehicles and just pray for the best.
They're going to have to hope that these teams in the hills are going for it. You can see already, they're just shooting out across the way. These rotations starting to have to come through. Really not going to do too well. They might even just be able to get the blow up on the vehicle. PixL Spades really not having the best time at the moment. You can see he's just going to swap out into a different vehicle. It is very close to exploding, so they do have to get that done. Insidious, though, they might be looking for a little bit of a movement. They have control of this right-hand flank of the circle, but everybody's going to be looking to get there too.
And above them is Team Seoul, Team India as well. So whilst Insidious right now have to take out Learn from Past, they've got so many teams above them as well. Could really be a spanner in the works. If they win out this fight, then can they win out any more is the question. All these Easternly teams starting to try and make the rotation up the kill side. It's really struggled to get up this rocky terrain. See that cliff face that PixL Spades have crashed into? They're going to be underneath it. They're going to have to try and figure out if they want to make a rotation now or later. Omen's popped the nade, but he's thought better of it, not going to throw it just yet. And India are about to crash into 8-bit, but it's 2 versus 4 here. They're very split.
They were on either side, of course, of Team Seoul, so now they're 2 versus 4, as you say. He's going for 1, will get knocked down as he goes for the peak, and not really going to get anything in response. They might just be able to confirm that, but they're getting third-partied on out. That's going to be a little bit of respite for Team India. They might just be able to get their teammate up, but it's going to be a difficult push to be sure, as 8-bit, they're trapped in a valley.
Currently struggling here. We see Daljit looking to try and see if he has a route to heal up Kratos. Looks like 8-bit have decided to move on towards the cliffs here where PixL are currently.
Daljit, one of the strongest snipers in the lobby at the moment, known for his strong flicks, his great sniper play, so we'll want to see that coming in. Of course, he did have that M24 on his back, so he's going to be able to pop them off when it matters.
Really difficult position here for Maximus Alpha. Right on the eastern side of the circle, no real way to rotate in. They've got to go through Pain Retribution. Seoul, very stubborn here. PixL Spades right up against the cliff. Team India have taken the high ground for now, but right at the moment, pretty much every one of these teams are going to start losing members as this blue pushes in. 8-bit are basically pincered between so many squads.
Yeah, but Kratos is down already, so Team India really don't have too much of strength moving forwards. Yeah, he's managed to get himself an Orm over onto Team Seoul. So you can see they know exactly where ISO are, so they have the bead on. There's PixL Spades a little bit to their west, and 8-bit now are there. And look, Daljit going down in the blue. That's really not going to do him any favors, but 8-bit, they're pretty much pinned. They have to push around. There's no way up the cliff.
I think that if I was 8-bit, we're in phase 5. You can afford some zone damage, fully stim up, heal up, but they don't have the meds right now. Viper just going wide on that shot onto ISO. And it means for them, they're not going to be able to get it. You can see already,
there he is,
just
under
on
the vehicle.
No, it's not going to connect. You can see right now, the circle has shifted once more to the north. Has Scout OP dropped into an unfavorable position? He has. I don't think he can get back up, so that might just be Team India going to be eliminated due to zone play. All these Eastern teams, PixL Spades, Seoul, ISO, Learn from Past, and Team India are basically going to get pushed by the zone here. The play zone might just wipe out 4 teams on this phase.
It's certainly going to be tricky for them, to say the least. He doesn't have too many meds to be playing with, but 8-bit make the push and they make it work. PixL Spades taking a lot of damage, only 1 now left standing. There's HB, look at this, the 4-man rotation coming out from Seoul. They're going to be an absolute firing squad, but Riser is rising over these ridges and dealing death as he goes. PixelReign going to be knocked on out by 8-bit.
Team Seoul just crashed into Learn from Past. 8-bit need to get up the hill or they're going to go down to the zone here. 10 teams remain, but they're just getting eliminated by the zone time and time again. A lot of these kills going over to Seoul, who basically took out quite a few of these players before they made the rotation. Viper with the Orm, just not quite able to connect some of these shots. And here we go. Here your team's alive. Brawlers still with 5. Insidious with 4. Rip Official with 4. 8-Bit somehow keeping 4 alive. But Ash might go down to the zone in just a second here.
Yeah, he's going to get knocked. And with Soul just bearing straight down on you. One team
out.
they rolled through, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it again. 8-Bit go down. Team India, though, they're still in it. They still got a player sneaking about somewhere.
Trance up in the north, I believe, still alive for Team India. Soul managed to make this rotation work for them, but unfortunately Mortal going to be lost towards the play zone here. The circle finishing on Insidious. Rip Officials. You can see Insidious just holding out as much as possible here. Still 4 men alive for them. They've got quite a few teams from the east to deal with in just a second. Soul go out.
To hold out. Soul getting knocked out on the rotation. It was going to be a difficult journey for them. They made it as far as they could, but they stop in 8th. And we'll be seeing them go down there.
Retribution about to crash into Insidious here. Insidious spraying them down. It looks like Retribution may have just lost their lives on that rotation as well. Unless it's GodsReign. Very difficult to tell right now. It's a bloodbath. This zone push has eliminated half of the teams in one go. Currently the Brawlers have a really nice northerly position, but the circle has shifted down to the south.
That's really over onto MegaStars. That's really quite interesting because, of course, MegaStars previously won the map just 1 game ago. They're looking to do the same. They've got the zone, but they are really quite pincered there. They've got a tiny little nook to be hiding in at the moment, but we'll see what they can do with it.
I mean, MegaStars and Indian Tigers have the zone. GodsReign is to the south of them. Brawls to the north of them. Then you have a couple members of Rip Official contesting Insidious for this easternly location. Insidious have a very difficult push ahead of them as a 4-man, looking to try and showcase once more their absolute skill as Legend. Sprays on down, but Mazix cleans him up. Only Sky left for Rip Officials here. You have to think that that might be Rip Officials' end of the line in just a couple of seconds as the zone pushes them in, forces them out here.
Insidious now starting to make their insurgency into the zone, just moving a little bit westward. Rip Official, though, they need to make the push. The AK is out. Insidious are going to be bearing down on the Mazic. Might be caught unawares, but he should be able to hear those steps.
He knows for sure.
Should be able to spot them out. They're making a good push, but Sky looks for the turn. Not going to be able to get it. Very little damage done to Mazic as well. But he is lacking a little bit on that armor. He's only got level 1 and it's very damaged.
5 teams remain and everyone's pushing in here. MegaStars getting overrun a little bit by GodsReign. We'll have to see if they're able to keep on hold. All the teams struggling as far as members are concerned. GodsReign somehow still have 4 remaining. I thought there was more knocked, but no. Insidious also 4 as well. They're doing really good stuff here. But now, here comes the push from them, and it's going to be the Brawlers hurting them. Mazix gets knocked. Cartoons very low, gets the heal off. Mazix gets confirmed there. And they've just spotted Cartoons as well. The Brawlers in a really good spot. Care package is raining on in. No one's going to go for that.
That's the second knock onto final boss as well, so really going to be
quickly.
unlucky to go down. Will get shot out there by GodsReign, and now it's just Shadow lying down in a ditch, waiting for his execution.
Or waiting to make the hero play, John. We'll have to see. MegaStars
One of the two.
certainly wanting to put up a big performance here on their first match day of the semi-finals. Phase 6 about to close on in. Most of the teams have made it in. Shadow, though, very close to those vehicles, and Cartoons trying to blow them up from range.
There he goes.
Here comes GodsReign to finish off the MegaStars, and they're going to be able to successfully do it without losing a casualty as well. Phase 6 closing, and where will it shift? It's the most important factor of this circle. It's going to shift inwards to the center here, right on top of Insidious.
It's got a weird little split. Everyone really with a little bit of a toe into the circle. Everyone has some location, but the Brawlers...
Oh, the Grows are up close for Nova King.
Yeah, they're going to start it off with the Grozer. The Brawlers looking to go for the shots. Will get the confirm onto Omen. There's no shacks around, though, so it shouldn't be too much of a hit to Insidious. They go for the push. GodsReign trying to rain down from the top of the hill. They've managed to actually move up towards this airdrop as well. But look at this. Indian Tigers looking for a flank. They've been spotted out, and there's a down happened already. They need to try and play up close and personal, try and breach the top of this hill, and then roll down and see what they can do.
Lieutenant could be in trouble if he exposes himself to Insidious. He's decided that he has to focus on one team. It looks like the Indian Tigers going to be the ones that he's focusing on. The only issue is that he's been sprayed on down in that process here. GodsReign still keeping 4 members alive, but a couple knocks are there. Keep that in mind. The zone is starting to close now, and the Indian Tigers have the furthest rotation into the circle here. as Carrie's trying to peek on through. Already made a huge play onto SWAT earlier in the game. The nade comes through. It's going to be cocked. It's going to be thrown. Lieutenant sees it behind the care package and he should be fine. Also, Lieutenant, I love this.
Ooh.
Waiting to take that military armor out when he needs it the most. Refreshes it at a key time. It could be crucial to GodsReign success.
Insidious just a little bit further down the hill. Indian Tigers, they're biding their time, and this hillock will be the last stand coming
Never
through.
mind.
A nice couple of shots raining in from Smokey. Insidious still going strong. They don't have too much more troops to go, but they are going for another duel as well. GodsReign looking to go for the double peak. They will eliminate Team Insidious in 4th place.
3 teams remain. GodsReign, the Brawlers, and the Indian Tigers fighting it out for the #1 here on Miramar. GodsReign with the man advantage. The circle starting to close on in here. It's going to be quiet for a second here as the Indian Tigers try to find their terrain to fight from.
This is the thing as well, because GodsReign have the Overwatch on the Brawlers. They can't wrap around and look for the Indian Tigers. So everybody in a bit of a standoff at the moment. They're all just waiting for someone else to make the move.
And Phase 8 could be the decider here, forcing these players to make a decision. Lieutenant, does he actually know that the Brawlers is south of him? Because it doesn't seem like he's playing around it. He's spotted out Carrie, going to get the spray down onto Carrie. Missing shots, gets the kill. It's only Marvi left alive for Indian Tigers here. Not able to find the fight. Brawlers finally from the south, popping shots at Lieutenant. And somehow Lieutenant gets away from it.
Brawl down the hill now. They have a little bit of a strong position going on as well, but they do need to try and push and get some of that circle. Their throwables should start to come on out. You can see Mavi still there waiting in the wings. Everyone needs to try and dethrone GodsReign at the moment from the top of this hill. And there's a good performance going in. The nade is going on up. Where's it going to land? Not going to be able to get too much damage. Was pretty close to the care package there. The next zone looking to come in about 20 seconds now. Twister maybe looking for the flank.
And I can't see the zone, which means that it must be on GodsReign due to the fact that they have so many members in this area here. It must be on them, which means that Brawlers and Indian Tigers have to push the GodsReign. All 4 members alive, kings of the hill, kings of the zone. You can't imagine that GodsReign will lose this one, John.
It's going to be certainly difficult for them to do so with all of their members up and alive. Live and kicking, ready for those frags. They might start to just make their push. The smoke's actually coming down from Brawlers.
Yep.
And if they team up with Mavi, they might be able to get something done, but Mavi has other ideas. They go for the duel, they go for the trades.
GodsReign are hearing these shots. Will they third party peek over the hill and just finish this fight off, or are they going to be patient, John?
We'll have to wait and see. The nades coming out towards Mavi, but I think that was just a smoke to try and cover off their approach. GodsReign, they're just ready and willing to wait to let these 2 teams fight it out.
Yep.
If one of them goes down, they know they have a massive advantage.
Yes.
As it stands, they do not want to be third party.
No, not at all. GodsReign trying to hold out
Oh, that's the
here.
blue hitting Mavi.
Blue does hit Mavi. He's actually just going for the heals in the blue, but he doesn't time it correctly. Does get taken out to the blue. It's the Brawlers versus GodsReign here, and Manu has Overwatch on Nova King. Got to spot him out. That's going to be Nova King. Taking on down.
2.
Only 1 member left here for the Brawlers. Can he do it? Iconic. Look for the spray down. Massive jump from Manu, and it gets the kill. GodsReign taking down Miramar in dominant fashion.
They're able to get plenty of kills with it as well. 6 should be just about enough to get it done. And that is going to be GodsReign reigning strong on Miramar, as you say. It should be pretty good to be moving forwards with as well. But everybody else having decent shouts into it as well. Both the Indian Tigers and Insidious racking up some decent kill scores. I think they're hitting 8 kills apiece, sorry, 7 kills apiece for both of those squads.
What we're seeing here, time and time again, is Pain Retribution sneaking on into the top 7. Rip Official sneaking on into the top 7, and MegaStars sneaking in. They're not winning every game here, but they are certainly putting up bigger performances than they did in the group stages, John. Fantastic stuff from GodsReign. We've seen them time and time again play the circle perfectly and take control as a 4-man. And on Miramar here, they executed perfectly. Very patient play, just allowing the Brawlers and Indian Tigers to determine who would be third. And then they went at it with the Brawlers at the end there. And this time we do see a little bit more of our top teams here. Insidious making it into that top performance there. The Indian Tigers struggled just a little bit, as I'm sure we'll see in the highlights with that big push off San Martin Cliffs. But again, I asked John, where are 8-bit?
They're not doing too well, certainly.
This highlight play from Carrie, fantastic stuff. 1 knock, 2 knocks, looks for the 3rd and gets it. Just wiping out SWAT super early with a hero solo play from Carrie. Really living up to his namesake here. Very surprising to see teams like DAKU and MegaStars fighting so early in El Pozo when the circle was not on them. And DAKU again with this rotation here. I understand you lose a member, but then you don't hop out of your vehicle to try and rest them. You just keep going. And DAKU, from yesterday's top performances, I guess due to the circle landing on them, they're not really converting it here. I thought this from Seoul was quite incredible. You don't expect a play in the pickup truck to be so successful, but they made it work for themselves. Unfortunately, they did go out very shortly after to the zone, and Retribution, of course.
Continuously just pushing on in. A little bit more hectic as well, that fifth circle, as you were saying, like very, very crunchy and dangerous for a lot of those teams. They all kind of went out. Those hills, this is what we were talking about, very difficult to rotate around on Miramar. You need to know the lay of the land, because if you get trapped behind one of those mountains, you can just get pinned down in the way that we saw quite a few teams getting done over.
And it felt like the teams were really... I guess patient is the word, John, but I'm not sure it's the word I want to use, because I don't think it was the correct play for some of these guys here. It felt like they were just holding off too late to rectify their locations. I guess fear of placements was the main play for these guys. Manu should have even got that kill, by the way.
Absolutely not. He was flying through the air.
But he did.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff for them. 6 kills for GodsReign, 7 for the Indian Tigers overall in our head-to-head here on match 6. And GodsReign with a couple of standout performances across the last 3 matches. Kind of eating into day 1 there, John. They've had some top 5 performances in a row, really pushing their standings up and making a play for the top contenders here.
Yeah. I think what we saw on Miramar was the distinct lack of practice on Miramar in a competitive setting.
And the uncomfortability of it.
Yeah, the rotations were just a little bit creaky.
Sure.
They weren't quite up to code. So they weren't going as strong as they would do on the rest of these maps. So we saw some weird, extremely dangerous circles where perhaps they should have been a little bit more spread out. They maybe didn't know the lay of the land, as well as some of the other maps where they do know exactly what's going on into the rest of it.
And like we predicted, I guess, with the way Miramar is set out as a map overall, it does come down to terrain play for these teams, something that historically they've not wanted to do. They want to hold compounds, they want to rotate early into compounds, but on Miramar you have to rotate early onto terrain. And so that does require a lot of map knowledge and really good in-game leader skills to be able to, I guess, execute on that. And also, you know, some luck when it comes to zone placements, but a lot of these players, when they've played thousands of hours of PUBG, they start to understand the algorithms of how the zone gets picked out, and they can make those predictions based on the terrain. So it all comes down to knowledge of terrain, essentially, to make those predictions, and it all just, it's a vicious cycle, I guess you could say, John.
Yeah, well, we aren't going to be on Miramar anymore
That's
for
true.
now, because the next map obviously going to be going over to Erangel,
Yes.
and make that a double episode, because we're going to be having twice of those. But you guys head over and check out Vivo, the official smartphone of the PUBG Mobile Club Open 2019. I'm sure you'll be able to stack up with these pros in no time.
And if you want to get an update on the standings and check out all the other regions involved in the PUBG Mobile Club Open, head on over to our website. That's clubopen.pubgmobile.com for all of the action.
Absolutely, and if you want to check out all the highlights, all of the VODs of not just our region, the Indian region, the best region, but also some of the other regions as well.
You
can look at them.
North America, South America, as well as the wildcard region, and of course the Middle Eastern region as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can check those out at the YouTube channel, which is the link was just down below. That's PUBG Mobile eSports, and you can hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well. But we are going to be heading over to a break. When we come back, we'll be going over to Erangel to take the second half of this second day of the semi-finals. Don't go anywhere.
Vivo.
play PUBG Mobile for free.
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with the pan. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane, you get into the zone. In PUBG Mobile, you all come from different walks in life. But you face the same dangers on the battleground. And you become friends. You work together to overcome the obstacles. This is PUBG Mobile. There's a number one in all of us. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile first anniversary party. PUBG Mobile, be the one.
Welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Club Open 2019. This is the India region. My name is John Allen. Dowsey's here again. We are going to be cracking on with some more PUBG Mobile.
Certainly are. We've had 2 matches of day 2 of the semifinals, John.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're jumping over to Erangel, which is the last 2 maps that we're going to be playing here for this day. Erangel, so much fun because, of course, the teams are very well versed in it. They've got their strategies, they've got their knowledge locked down, And so now it's all about the team that has the best in-game leader to be able to carry them through. And I want to focus on one team that has been consistently doing that over the last couple matches, and that's GodsReign. Getting the chicken dinner in the last match, of course, that's really impressive stuff. But over the last 3 matches that I've seen from GodsReign, consistently high performances from them. Sometimes they finish in 7th, sometimes they finish in 2nd, maybe it's 1st. But the fact of the matter is that they're constantly rotating into locations that the zone is going to close on in, and because of that, their positioning is always strong. And so that's what I'd love to see from teams here in the PUBG Mobile Club Open, a willingness to learn the algorithms of the circle, study that art, I suppose you could call it, and then put up strong performances because of it.
Yeah, of course. You know, you should always be able to predict a kind of position where the circle will go. I think there's always a guaranteed location within the existing circle where you will be in the next circle. So you can kind of figure it out there. But let's take a look at the standings. Of course, Team Insidious still at the top, 148. Not having the best day today, but not having a bad day either. They've managed to post, I believe that counts as 35 points so far in 2 games.
I love the idea that because it's PUBG Mobile, you could just get your contractor out and just mathematically figure out the
Do you mean
position.
protractor?
Protractor, yeah.
There we go.
Compass.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be pretty impressive stuff if anyone was doing that. I doubt they are, but like you mentioned, Team Insidious still strong. They had a better performance here on Miramar, got themselves some extra points, but they need to keep putting up some good performances here because GodsReign have caught up. They've caught up to the entirety of Group A here.
Yeah.
In 2nd place all of a sudden, and that's due to the fact that they've just had 4 matches in a row where they've consistently been rotating smartly into the circle.
Yeah, there's a lot of disparity in these tables, remember, because of course some teams played 6, some played 4, some played 2, so a lot of these teams are going to be shifted about quite significantly.
But when you see Team India with only 2 matches played in 11th position, surrounded by people who've played double or even triple their match count, that shows once more that Team India are a strong force to reckon with here in the semi-finals.
We saw that on MegaStars as well. They were sat up in 8th place, and they're posting 59 points, which is a 29.5 point average per map. So again, they're a force to be reckoned with. Moving down towards the bottom side of the table, obviously, this is the majority of the 2-map teams that are playing today. This is Group C coming on in. I'm looking at Team Seoul, 15 points. That's not really the best start, not really the best kickoff. PixL Spades as well, a little bit lackluster. Only 3.
We're only on match day 2 of 6 for the semi-finals, but anyone who's on this screen on match day 6 will be eliminated from the semi-finals. They will not be able to go to the regional finals to really fight for those 2 placement spots at the global finals of this spring split. And so for all these teams here, you have to think, where are they going to be? And surprisingly, it's ISO who have put up some really decent performances over their time so far. They need to put up a couple more. If they can get double their points now, they'll find themselves middle of the pack again, which is good for them. Maximus Alpha, who are gifted a shot at redemption. They need to continue to prove it. Team Seoul, learn from past actually. Learn from past, placed so high in the group stages, 6 overall, and they're currently in 23rd position. 2 appalling results from them on Vikendi and on Miramar. Potentially they can bring it back on Erangel. For a lot of these teams, that's their anchor in the PUBG Mobile Club Open, which makes sense because it's half their games. So really, if Learn from Past isn't putting up a good performance from on Erangel in match 3 of today, then I'm worried.
Well, yeah, I think you would be. I think you'd be right to be as well because Erangel, as you say, 50% of the maps.
Yeah.
So you need to be getting more than 50% of your points, quite honestly, because you should be more than comfortable on it. So if you can continuously do that as well, you can kind of rely on that to even just have that safety net and be able to do something a little bit more dramatic on the other maps, on Sandhawk and Vikendi, or Miramar, if you're playing it, of course. I believe every group will be playing Miramar at some point. Yes. Some will be playing it next week, and I think one group will be playing it twice.
Yes.
I'll have to double check which group that is, but there will be one group that plays it twice, but still a very, very sparse map. So not a lot of teams will be looking to practice on it. But everybody is going to be absolutely going on Erangel. They will be going again and again and again, scrims, playing, just ranked ladder, just everything else.
Yeah, no, it's going to be Group B playing it twice as well. Group C, actually. It's Group A that only plays it once overall. So interesting stuff as far as that one works out. But yeah, it's a difficult map for a lot of these these Indian players in the region to play on because it doesn't quite fit their regional meta, which is very interesting as we're starting to see those regional metas come out here. Moving on to Erangel here. we have two of the top performers on Erangel in this lobby. Team Insidious and Team India have constantly put up big performances on Erangel, very consistent teams. And this is kind of the showdown that we love to see when we do get a bit of Erangel going, is how these teams perform when, you know, you have Scout going up against Mazix as far as, you know, calling the shots in this lobby. So I'm excited to see how they perform, because I feel like the rivalry between Team India and Team Insidious is quite pronounced because of the fact that these players have played with each other in the past. And so they're all friends and you know, they've been very friendly, and it's a very friendly rivalry, but it's one that they're going to be developing over the semifinals and assumably into the regional finals as well, based on the fact that they're putting up big numbers.
Yeah, and as well as that, you have these players who have been playing together quite a long time, and they're going to know each other's strategies a little bit better than you once would. But over on to our first dose of Erangel. We are going over the Western Throws, which means that 8-bit, they can drop down into Pochinki. You've got people who can go to South George. Military base potentially on the cards is a little bit late of a drop to be going for that, so I'm not sure we're going to be seeing too much there.
Guarantee it. SWAT official are going to go for it as well.
Okay, fantastic.
There's my prediction plays, John. For
All
you.
right, fair enough. Zaki probably not on the cards, but Severny seems to be a drop that two teams are going for, and it's MegaStars, I believe. Who's that underneath them?
Underneath them are the Brawlers, but they're going opposite directions, so that's okay. Some are going towards SKUL and apartments. Others are going over towards North and South Georgopol. Retribution love their bit of Georgopol, and you can see them out of their plane. A little bit late for South Georgopol, so maybe they're actually going around Gat area here instead. And there you see it. Team India jumping out, Rip as well. And 8-bit landing on inside Pochinki. Don't see SWAT. Oh, there they are. Jumping out right at the end with Maximus Alpha.
Insidious over towards South George as well. Certainly one of their players. I think everyone else is just stacked up, but nobody going over to that eastern side. I mean, that's fair enough given the path of the plane, but the circle is going to shift them that way for now. A relatively kind circle, though. It's not really that dramatic.
It's
Everybody
about
has
as
a decent
central as
shout.
it can get, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
pretty much. I mean, a little bit up and to the left and you have it perfect, but well, you can't get perfect. This is PUBG. This is PUBG Mobile. It's a little bit messy, but South George, or North George even, might be a little bit contested.
Yeah, we got MegaStars, DAKU, Insidious all in North George here. MegaStars are actually trying to make it all the way up to Zaki. Not really wanting to play it. You can see Indian Tigers and Seoul fighting it out for control of the docks here. Very dangerous terrain to be fighting as well.
What do pros say about docks?
Don't go.
Oh, don't go docks.
Yeah. Don't go docks.
So dangerous.
It is. It's really really tricky to play around, calling out the different locations. I mean, you've got the spider cranes, you've got the hangars, of course, but then all of those little, like, nooks, all that the mazes of the shipping containers, very difficult to actually communicate where you're looking and what shipping container and the color. There's so many different colors. It just makes callouts really difficult to work with. And so that's something that I think Seoul and Indian Tigers will attempt to try and not fight each other and loot up and maybe just get out as quickly as possible. Also, very limited vehicle spawns around there, and based on Seoul's position on the southern side of docks, they'll have the advantage. You can already see there's a buggy on the top right. Usually there's a UAZ or a buggy on the top left, but potentially not this time.
Team India just picking up a buggy on the roads. They will be making a little bit more of a movement as well.
They're going down to military base, gonna get that loot.
Oh yeah,
song.
It's a good song. It needs a little bit of work, I'll be honest, but I think you'll get there.
You think?
Yeah, maybe. Probably not, to be honest.
Wow.
Stick to casting.
TY.
Over in Yasnaya, PixL Spades and GodsReign, both on opposite ends of the city. Everyone should be able to be happily looting up and getting some vehicles on board as well, seeing what they can go for.
PixL Spades struggling so far. An average of 1.5 points per match. Because they got a total of 3, I believe, overall.
Yeah, not strong at all. I mean, 1.5 is... It's easily achievable,
You think?
I think. Yeah, I think you can probably hit that score quite simply by not dying.
Okay.
That's probably my chief advice to beat that score.
Impressive analysis there, John.
Absolutely. Do you know I've been putting wrinkles in my brain all night?
Seoul will make that swift rotation like we talked about. Don't want to fight the Indian Tigers and Docks is really difficult to do, like we mentioned. Maximus Alpha, believe all the way up close to Zaki. The MegaStars are in Zaki.
No, Maximus Alpha down.
Oh, sorry, they're actually south. Yeah, you're right. On that southern western side. Yeah, but Zaki, one of the only teams that we see dropping Zaki is MegaStars here.
You're right, though. Team India and SWAT official.
Yeah,
Both heading over to military. Team India a little bit quicker on the draw there. Of course, they've still got Kratos on the outpost, so they have got control of the other side of the bridge. Very, very strong. Of course, this spread out from ISO coming through as well.
Really good stuff from ISO. Recognizing that the plane was so northwesternly that no team could drop over to the east. So they land, I guess, in the middle of the map around the junctions between SKUL and Yasnaya and those warehouses. Get some cars and head over to Milta, and they can take Milta, Mini Milta, and Milta Power Station if they want to. Loot it all up inside of the circle, get as much loot as possible, and rotate from a fairly safe side of the circle as well. That southeastern side only going to be contested if Team India and SWAT official make a rotation across the military base island to that eastern bridge.
We saw as well the outpost from Team India in Kratos on the other side of that western bridge.
Potentially holding for the SWAT official rotation across the bridge. A little bit unexpected. Could just set up a one-man bridge camp and try and get some knocks on a passing vehicle.
Difficulty is as well, though, if SWAT jump out and try and storm the castle, he's going to be isolated. There's no way they're going to be able to defend him.
What's Kyrie doing here? Did he fall?
Well, he can get up.
Okay.
He can get up. It's
He
fine.
might actually just be scaling the boat. Bit of a trip down to Yasnaya, down the canal. Could be a nice little adventure for the Indian Tigers. A bit of a relaxing sail.
This is one of those teams that you were looking at before, Dowsey. Learn from past. They need to put in a good performance this map, and certainly the next one as well. Erangel's the place to do it. Insidious, a little bit more central as well, a little bit north. But they have got control of one of these compounds near the garage.
You can hear them jumping in their vehicles. DAKU leaving the northern area of Georgopol to make their rotation with the circle here as well. And currently everyone just getting their vehicles, their loot set up here. Carrie's either looking to make a play onto Insidious here, solo in the water, by crossing over early.
Not too sure he wants to, though. I mean, it's a very strange position for him to be in. I agree. Like, I'm not too sure what's going on. Actually, Kratos doing a little bit of scouting and moving around, not with the rest of his team as well. So they are starting to go for this more split-up approach to playing PUBG Mobile that we see in other formats, in other regions as well, where you have a scout, maybe you split up into two teams of one and a core of two or something like that, and you try and leapfrog forwards and pepper pot strategy that way.
Sure. Carrie just scouted out the rotation coming from Insidious, which will give Indian Tigers a bit of relief. Now they know that they're safe to make a rotation, but they're unlikely to do it on that westernly road towards Rozhok.
Indian Tigers, one of the top performers over on Erangel. I think they're the 4th best team at Erangel at the moment, so they do have a lot of good strategy going on. And see if they can bring it to bear here. But the Brawlers have a decent shout as well. Soul holding down GATCO, one of my favourite locations to drop. Not in a squad, though. It doesn't quite have enough loot for squads. Maybe in duos. Maybe you could get 2 out. But if you take down Farm as well, then you can start to think about getting a drop. But it's difficult to get all those locations.
Yeah, you're just categorically wrong there, John. GATCO is the worst. No. I hate it.
No. You see, this is where you're wrong, because he's got a VSS.
Oh, okay, it's the best now.
It's the best,
yeah,
right?
I agree.
There you go.
Well played.
I knew I'd change your mind.
Easily done. No one's died yet, John. We're 8 minutes into our first match here. The first circle about to close out here. A very calm first match of Erangel.
Certainly is. First circle's only just closing, so I'm not expecting too many teams to crash just yet. Obviously, Erangel a little bit more defined in terms of who's going where, but check it out. We got ourselves an AWP.
No one's going to get it, though. Unless, actually, no, maybe...
GodsReign might be spotting it out. They are headed
maybe,
a little bit away.
Maybe MegaStars could get it on
well,
their
with
rotation.
this next circle, it could be PixL Spades coming in to pick it up.
PixL Spades might just find it on their way through. Like we talked, ISO would not be contested on this eastern side unless Team India decided to take the east bridge up, and they are. You You see the Brawlers have made their way down to the south as well. Team India very carefully crossing the bridge, but no one's there to camp it. But it's good to see that they're crossing their T's and dotting their I's here.
They're pepper potting. They're leapfrogging each other up to cover. They're able to take those fights. No one's there, but it's good. It's good drill. It's
really
good practice.
Yep.
It's very, very nice to see that those plays are starting to come on through. You can see they're splitting up. They're doing everything right.
And even it's such a low percentage chance that someone has made all their way over to the east bridge to camp it, but you got to make sure that you keep safe here in PUBG Mobile, especially in these top performing teams.
First little clash we're seeing. Rip official taking on the Brawlers.
Oh.
Legend taking a lot of damage, takes another shot as well to the back, but looking to try and get to some cover. Is he going to be able to get over the ridge? I think he's just away. That was dangerous. Not really looking to go for that engage on the south side of this island.
In match 4 of Erangel yesterday, Erangel, that's where Rip official wanted to camp on up, set up. You can see the Brawlers have taken it this time, and of course this is what happens when you play across groups. You don't have the knowledge that there's a person in your group that might go for that. Yeah. Brawlers in Group C, Rip officials in Group A, and so it is going to be Rip officials coming back to the snake compound, as I refer to it as, to hold up for now. It's a little bit more central to the circle as well, but you can see that a crash is coming through from Team Soul trying to push on in, John.
They know that someone's there. Ronak takes first fight, and near the broken wall they have a little bit of cover. Viper, soon to follow, gets a little bit of damage chucked on his way. They haven't really been able to give anything out as well to Rip. In come the full Soul squad, but you can see Rip official, they have some pressure.
Soul have the big white house, the height of this compound, and Rip have just bounced themselves between two unfortunate locations. Brawlers have taken their point A, and Soul are contesting their point B. They get the first knock with a nade. Good stuff coming through from the Rip officials, but of course they can't push on into the big white house here to confirm that. The res will come through from Ronak onto Oasis. Of course, a bit of damage dealt to him. That's a good nade. Ooh, not quite around the corner.
Yeah, not quite into the door there.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah, it certainly would have been, but this is pretty much a stalemate at this stage. Soul really have the advantage in terms of they have the tempo. Rip official, they're just waiting for these guys to peek. There's no way they can storm this house. They don't have the cover of the broken wall at the back, and they might just look to try and exfiltrate from the situation. But there's another wild card coming in. Don't think you want any part of this, my friends. They are just going to be sent away and give it a wide berth. There's a little bit of respite in the fight.
Yeah, no way that the third-party team there of SWAT official going to come on into this compound.
But that means they have got enough military island.
Yes. They didn't go for the military-based loot, though. Just the compounds around the edges. Team India scared them off. Here's that circle close here. And we get to see where all the teams will be forced towards. PixL Spades have made their way into the center, and that's paid off well for them. GodsReign, again, consistently praising their rotational ability and once more finding center circle.
And as well, a very mountainous finish this time around. So we're going to be looking for more terrain play coming out from these teams that aren't so used to it.
Reminds me of the last game of the group stages, second to last game, where Team India put up a 23-kill performance and a chicken dinner when it all finished on that easternly hills, just northeast of Milta. Can they repeat it is the question, John. They're certainly familiar with the terrain and know how to shot call around it, understand the locations they have to be to make that work. But twice in a row is a big call.
Everybody's spraying on down. Pain Retribution are there as well. Insidious now making this rotation past. Everybody's just flying by this standoff for these two teams. And no one really finding any damage from it. Everybody's still alive, and we're getting pretty deep now into Erangel.
Yeah, Pachinki Hills here. Going to be hotly contested, learn from past on top of the potato mound.
This is so many teams condensing here. Look at this southern side.
This is where Insidious did wrong yesterday. Rotating late into so many players. It's basically a repeat. 2 knocks coming through. Smokey gets his tire pops. He's going to have to get off that the buggy as quickly as possible as Insidious get wrecked here.
India's getting taken down a peg as well. The smoke's starting to come through. They are giving out, though, onto Team ISO. Only one team has gone down. They have 2 players still remaining for India.
Satan, no!
Oh, no. Maximus Alpha now can come under fire from MegaStars. Are they going to be able to find it? No, he's able to get away. Satan saves himself from the jaws of death, and they are going to continue to roll on through.
That's going to be Kratos knocked as well. It's only Trance left alive for Team India. Caster's Curse, John, praising their last Erangel performance in this zone. And now they've got 3 members knocked. What will Trance be able to do here? You have to think that not much. ISO have height advantage.
Insidious still have Smokey left alive, but that's pretty much it for them. They've been decimated, and they need to try and stick on in if they want to come on through. They are the best performing team on Erangel, and this is disastrous. This is exactly what you were saying. It's what we saw before. And that's Team India taking a lot of casualties. 2 of them go down. They are out of it, and 2 of the top teams, they've been just wiped a little bit too strong there.
Yeah, potentially the other teams are catching up to their strategies, doing their homework and researching what has made this performance so good. Indian Tigers crashing on into this compound that RIP officials have. Seoul are still here as well. 3 teams trying biting. But you can see that Indian Tigers are going to move away now.
This is the top 3 teams performing on Erangel. Insidious, India, and Indian Tigers as well. They're all taking heavy casualties.
Crazy.
This is insane.
Massive flip of storylines here. Definitely not what we expected, John. Circle shifts on top of that potato mound. And it's going to be GodsReign and DAKU to move into it from the northeast. 8-bit have to cross up from Pachinki, but they should be fairly safe and uncontested for now.
I think Insidious have gone down and out as well, because there is only 15 teams remaining.
And I don't see them.
I can't spot them on the map. The only other team that might have been is Team India. So I think Insidious are down and out in 16th position.
Oh boy.
This is really bad for them, but they still have a good point buffer from that previous day's performance. They're still at the top of the tables, but you don't want to be carrying on like this, to be sure. Aladdin, he has the bead onto the rest of Team India. They know exactly what's up, and look at that. His teammate just flanking around the side. ISO, they are not taking any prisoners.
Team India with 1 man standing, 1 not. Team Insidious, the first team eliminated here on Erangel. Team India under fire as well. Indian Tigers, I should say. Like you mentioned, John, top 3 performance, and there it is. The spray down Trance somehow manages to get the cross, barely staying alive here. Will get Kratos up for the 2nd time. But to what avail? Can they get out of this position with ISO overwatching?
GodsReign only having that 1 player there stuck. The Brawlers have that tower, but
ISO
the players
rotate
on the
away.
other side. ISO rotating, sure, but they're straight into DAKU. Indian Tigers have got Mavi there. On the south side, you've still got this standoff between Seoul and Rip. Everybody's just waiting, seeing who's going to make the next move. GodsReign start to move on away, and the rest of their players are there, but Manu's still trapped behind that tree.
Yeah, he'll stay there for practically the rest of the game, John. The rest of GodsReign have height advantage once more, taking the hill for themselves, really looking to play a positional game, and it's worked so well for them over the last 4 matches. It's what's put them in 2nd place overall, and with Team Insidious going out first, this could be GodsReign actually bunny hopping into the lead here in the semi-finals. Still, Team India staying alive by the skin of their teeth, but they have such a large rotation from that southerly flank up the Pachinki Hills onto the potato mound. Not to mention that RIP officials, like you mentioned, have just been stuck. There it is. GodsReign losing a member as DAKU, as a 4-man, squished them. Manu's going to escape the Brawlers here to try and reconnect with his team.
Yeah, Brawlers engaged in a fight across the way, and a lot of shots rolling on through. Team India, again, taking another knock. This is really disastrous for the top teams.
Kratos will just go down now. No way that Trance can revive him because he's been knocked twice already. He's going to bleed out really quickly. And he's not in a good position for Trance to get the res either. So I think at this point, Team India are just going to play around their solo.
And even if he
the
was
Blues
able to
here
get
as
the
well.
res, even
Oh,
if he was able to get the res, the next knock is an instant down. So
Yeah.
you're really lacking in terms of that value. You're pretty much just a caddy for meds at that stage.
Yeah.
For your teammate, you can see he is going to go out, dropping those meds.
Circle's going to start chunking onto Trance. The top 2 performers from Erangel suffering heavy casualties here as Trance tries to snake his way into the circle towards MegaStars.
This is the thing, though. You still have the ability to out-heal the zone at this stage. You can still start to move forwards and keep it on going with 2 players' meds as well on board. He should be able to make it in and maybe, just maybe, able to catch MegaStars off guard as he goes on through. But look at how free 8-bit have it right now on that western hillside.
Yeah.
They're doing really, really well. And with the next circle popping straight onto the Brawlers, they've got it pretty good too.
Trance will get into the circle. We're shifting towards the center of it currently.
Someone is checking.
Can Trance get in alive? Just about.
He's playing very sneaky. I don't think MegaStars have any idea at the moment as to what is going on. But you do have a team to his right as well, so it could be dangerous. This standoff is still happening.
Yeah,
it's still Soul taking on Official, but no, out the back they go.
Yes.
Finally, it's taken down.
8-Bit have just crashed into Indian Tigers. Like you mentioned, on that western side, they had it so free. Indian Tigers were going to push up eventually. The push-up not going well for them. Only one man able to run around and fire as Trance tries to snake his way past, and it looks like Mega are going to allow him to do so. Maximus Alpha with the Snokes trying to push up onto this hill that PixL Spades have. This blue will hurt John. The zone is closing. Trance is going to have to make a run for it. They're leaving Leo behind for now in the shack. We'll have to see how that plays out. Here comes ISO trying to contest the shack of SWAT. They've got GodsReign to the top of them, and DAKU's firing on top of them as well. GodsReign about to go out to DAKU.
Soul trying to fight off against Pain Retribution. 2 downs for either team at the moment as Patel comes under fire as well, just hiding inside the garage. These confirms can come through as Pain Retribution get wiped on out of the map. They are going to go down. There's Trance falling as well, meaning that Team India are out of the running.
Yeah, Team India, Retribution losing their lives. DAKU trying to take out GodsReign. And I think they were successful in their efforts as well. I don't see them anymore. SWAT under heavy fire from ISO as the neighbor age keeps flying, but they're not quite getting them into the shack windows. And Original will survive for now, as ISO now fighting for location against DAKU Official up on the northern side. 8-Bit finally having to push on into the yellow houses where Soul have the garage building.
They have got the control for now.
Currently,
and this is the circle. Once it solidifies, it should calm down just a little bit.
RIP Officials and PixL Spades have it, and PixL Spades, one of the least performing teams so far, needed to put up a big performance if they wanted to really get some points. I think RIP Official are still alive, my bad.
8-Bit take a knock as well as Soul make the push over, but Ash is ready and waiting. He can see he's on the hillside, gets 2. 1 for Ted coming on through, and Soul now are really at risk. Viper very, very low, will go down.
Third
They
party
are going to take it out. There's a third party indeed. The shot's going to still rain through. Aways. Still not quite there, not quite ready. Riser looking for the confirm, but Aways not able to protect his teammates. The rest of the squad's starting to clash now on this northern side. It's so dangerous as ISO have to fight their way out of the corner. Soul will be eliminated in 12th place.
Waste is not able to get into the circle. You can see DAKU are pretty much eliminated here on the top end side. Lancer and Sega with a smoke cover to try and keep themselves alive. ISO trying to take them out as we speak. The zone shifts once more up towards that northeast where Brawl and Indian Tigers are. Of course, DAKU as well having circle. 8-Bit have just constantly having to be pushing in from this eastern side. Very difficult for them to do so.
Someone that we haven't really heard anything from at the moment, Maximus Alpha. They have the eastern side of the circle. They should be very, very strong here. They should have a really decent shout moving forwards.
Does he have it? No, not quite. Here's the players alive. The Brawlers have 4. Learn from past have 4 as well. Ninja spraying on down onto Lancer, meaning that for DAKU Official, they only have 1 player alive to res Lancer here at Sega in the smokes, able to get it. Learn from past, finally having to come off the potato mound and make a dangerous push into the circle. We'll have to see if they're capable of doing so as PixL Spades group on up into a UAZ, and that's going to be 2 knocks, I think, coming through for Satan.
They're still kind of trying to keep this pressure forwards. Oh, Original, he shows his head. Aladdin looking to take it off, but unfortunately not quite able to land it. Brawlers as well. They're firing over onto the MegaStars. Shadow has been knocked, but they're challenging Final Boss, looking to try and stop that confirm coming on through. Shadow, though, will be bleeding out in this entirety of the time. 8-Bit have tried to push on forwards as teams get eliminated left and right. DAKU now with a little bit of trouble over on the northern flank.
Yeah, it's ISO who hold the strongest point of the zone, but they will be contested by SWAT Official, kind of lurking. Maximus Alpha pushing on up into that position that SWAT Official has held for a while now. The Brawlers continuing to try and take out 8-Bit as they make their rotation from the east here.
Final Boss, he lobs in the nade. He's looking to try and get something done with it. Not going to be able to get too much, I don't think. SWAT's still going. They're still holding Maximus Alpha on that southern side as well, trying to stand off. But over on this western side, we still have 9 teams trying to get into this 6th zone.
Dark finally spots Final Boss, and we'll get the spray down on him.
That's a pretty simple one. Brawlers just going to be able to get the crossfire. They will be able to confirm it as well.
Aladdin struggling on this hillside. I thought they had the strongest position, but actually the terrain isn't very kind to them. They don't actually have much cover. Learn from past as they push on in, snake it in. just above 8-bit, might actually be able to contest ISO on the top of the hill. No one's really able to see the heads of ISO as they snake it out, which is the one thing that's keeping them alive for now.
Look at that tantalizing airdrop right in the middle of the zone. That would be so tricky for anyone to get to. But it will be a cover location and an armor refresh as well for some lucky punter. Khan, last member of MegaStars left alive, still in the running as ISO start to find the shots down onto Maximus Alpha. 3 players for them, but player very, very low and will get the confirm as well. They lose it, and now 2 for Maximus Alpha.
Yeah, Brawl actually taking that kill from the southerly flank. The circle once more revealed and over towards the east.
Oh no.
ISO going to have to come down the hill, as are SWAT as well. King trying to deny the kill by dying to the play zone rather than taking the bullets, denying points.
I'm not sure if that works. We'll have to figure that out.
It says play zone killed them, but I'm pretty sure you get the points when you've knocked them like that.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But the Brawlers as well, taking a lot of damage, learn from past, getting the spray down now. Encore has the high ground and can rattle off those shots. PixL Spades in a really open position. They have to make the rotation now to a northern circle.
They need to get onto those trees. It's the only cover on the north. If they can't get there now, then they're not going to get a chance later here. 7 teams remaining. Everyone's starting to push on in. The circle is pushing them up to the north here. Encore going down the hill towards the care package, but thinks better of looting it. Wants to try and get the rock at the southern side here. Good cover, but he's going to have so many players coming from the south to contend with and not really going to have a good place to position on that rock either. ISO finally make the push down to the trees. Keeps him alive, and Paradox will get spotted snaking it. There's another member of Learn From Past, Swag, spraying down to try and trade the kill, but not successful. And it looks like Original popping some shots over. Avi, does he have a nade to deal with the 2 members here? Very difficult to get one into the window.
Not too sure he needs to go for it though. Said he could just bide his time. His team's at his back. They have control of so much of the ground. You can see he's got the suppressed M16. Just going to be able to rattle those shots off over onto PixL.
Learn From Past eliminated, John. Down to 5 here. 8-bit ISO, SWAT, PixL Spades, and the Brawlers, your top 5 in this final circle. Which is impressive stuff because we needed big performance from PixL Spades and Learn From Past if they wanted to get out of the hole that is the elimination zone.
PixL Spades have already taken a lot of damage. He's going to be able to get the confirm there. The ISO, they're starting to get knocked as well. As they turn it around just a little bit. You can see, though, 8-bit getting eliminated in 5th position. So they are going to go out now. 4 teams remaining as we move into Phase 7. He's looking for that hill line. I think he knows he's around this tree. The calls come out. The Brawlers have a very difficult rotation to make. ISO, though, they have got the pressure on them because, of course, they have taken a knock.
ISO, they do have 3 members, but like you mentioned, 1 is not. HB has a member from ISO in his sights, but he is just a solo player at this stage. Doesn't want to reveal his location. Phase 8 making things even tougher for these players as it looks like the circle shifts again up towards ISO in the northern easterly side of the map. The Brawlers going to have to push all the way around the circle if they want to be in it. And of course, SWAT official somehow just getting so fortunate with these rotations. They haven't had to move away, but now ISO do have a member watching for it. Avi here, who's going to cock a nade and try and throw it over.
Oh dear. Just gets spotted out. He was protected from SWAT's position and PixL Spades' position as well, but the ISO squad had a decent overwatch there. They're going to spot out the other player as well. Brawlers going down. ISO still hold the top of the hill. They have really good cover at the moment, but this rotation needs to be moving towards SWAT. SWAT have to come out of this shack, though, and it's going to be very difficult to make that happen. Original pretty much stuck in there. Deepak has to make something happen for him. They might just look for those nades on the next zone move. For the smokes to try and cover them.
Phase 8, about to come here. You see that circle creeping on. It's about to tag Original. I think he's got his heels ready to go, or maybe he's going to make a push blindly. Not entirely sure. HB, very silent, but it looks like Ninja is aware of the location. Maybe not, actually. He's scanning.
Oh, I think he knows.
He knows, yeah, you're right.
Oh, he sees it, though.
There it is. Oh, wow, Avi actually just goes for the wild push.
Sidhu's there. That's what they were looking for. You could see Sidhu the whole time was pushing out wide, able to get the shot off the return knock. Original now trapped in the corner like a rat.
He's just... I mean, this is inevitable. I am inevitable, says Original, and he cocks an aid. Runs out into his death.
Sees what he can get. Oh, in the meantime as well, PixL Spades got eliminated. That is going to be the winners coming up the top of the hill. It will be ISO with a couple of kills as well under their belt. A really strong performance coming on in. Look at how many the Brawlers were managing to get as well. Really good shots coming out.
What a crazy game of Erangel, John.
It was
Very
so
unexpected.
strange. It was so strange. There was a lot of factors that really were just very weird. The rotations a little bit late. No one actually engaged. I think we went into phase 7 with 8 teams still alive.
Yeah.
That's absolutely insane when you consider how much ground there actually is there, the cover that you have to play, and the sort of terrain adaptation you need to come through. That's something I really wasn't expecting to see, but Erangel certainly shaping up to change over the course of these semifinals to a different style of meta.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's very unexpected top teams in there. TeamINSIDIOUS going out in 16th. Team India going out very early, I think in around 14th position. There are top 2 performers on Erangel consistently across this tournament, and they just did not have the performance that you expect from them. The teams that really needed points showed up here. PixL Spades getting into that 3rd position, and of course Learn From Past going out in 5th as well will help their positional gain, get some points into their system here. But of course ISO, we wanted to talk about them and highlight them because they have had some solid performances, standout performances, pushing themselves to a top end of the group. Currently only sitting on 19th, but with that chicken dinner coming through, it's going to jump them up to around 8th position off of the back of that win.
Yeah, that's a really strong performance with the number of kills they got as well. I think they're sat at around a 45-point game, something like that.
Very close.
So they will be jumping up pretty far. They were sat on 28 before, so they'll be in a nice comfy position as well after that. But Insidious falling really quite poorly there.
I mean,
pretty early on.
Let's compare day 1 to day 2. Day 1, 113 points total. Day 2, it's looking to be about 34, 35 points total. A stark difference coming through from TeamINSIDIOUS. They have not really stood out today. They're going to be disappointed in their performance for sure, John. Something that they're going to need to rectify in the last match of Erangel. They want to continue to showcase dominance here. Of course, when you consider the fact that TeamINSIDIOUS have had 7 out of 8 matches played in week 1.
Yeah.
And they've only got 148 points. You've got people like MegaStars and Team India with only a few points games played so far, really coming to fight them for that top position. And this final circle proving difficult for a lot of these players due to the fact that it was all about high ground and playing with very limited terrain cover. But ISO, they won the northernly side of it very quickly, John, and they were able to consistently showcase a huge performance there. Lots of damage dealt across the board. 43 points, like you mentioned, for them, with 13 kills on top of it. That's going to drop ISO up to 8th, like we said.
Nicely done for them. The Brawlers, second fragging with 11 kills as well. A lot of damage being poured on out. Those final circles certainly very hectic, and with that number of points, they are going to be able to jump on quite far up. I think they are going to be placing around 8th for their current next position. Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's all right.
Well, they are.
That really validates my statements, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All good. GodsReign, not quite able to survive deep into the circle, John. Not quite able to put up a huge performance, but for their day 2, they've managed to chuck themselves up into 2nd position. Rep Officials following in 3rd. And it's a bit of a wild one, day 2 here. A lot of teams that we weren't expecting coming through heavily in the points and being able to showcase that the semifinals weren't as predictable as we all thought they would be. A lot of these teams potentially just getting off to a false start in the group stages and showing actually they want to fight for those regional finals placements.
But this kind of testifies just how strong TeamINSIDIOUS were in the previous day, though. I mean, it kind of was the opposite of a false start for them in that they really came out swinging, and today they've had a lackluster performance so far in these 3 maps, but they're still sat at the top of the table. Obviously there are teams with only 3 or 4 maps played in the mix. Of course, they've played 7 now, so they are the most. They have got the most the matches under their belt, but we'll have to see a little bit more from them. We expect more from them.
We definitely do. From TeamINSIDIOUS, from Indian Tigers, from 8-Bit, and of course Team India. They're some of the top performances
Yeah.
across the board, and so we did expect into the semifinals they would do that. But now we're starting to see new names emerge. MegaStars, Maximus Alpha, ISO, really putting up some huge performances of late. And
Yeah.
Rip Officials also
Doing very well.
doing very well. Can't wait to see what happens on the final map of Erangel and what happens as far as do the top teams sustain or do we get newcomers?
Well, if you want to be joining in with some of those top players, some of those top teams, you need to be getting the right kit on board, and you can do that with the official smartphone of the PUBG Mobile Club Open. Of course, that's Vivo, and you can check it out and get some frags yourself.
And don't just take it from us. Make sure you head on over to the clubopen.pubgmobile.com website so you can check the standings, the statistics across all of the different games played so far, and really figure out which team is going to be projected to make it to the regional finals here after the semi-finals. Lots of information there for the Indian region as well as the other 6 regions that we're covering.
Yeah, and you can also check out all the highlights, all the VODs, all the replays from, as you were saying, not just India, but from all of the regions that we're covering over on the YouTube channel. If you head over to PUBG Mobile Esports, of course, you can see it on your screens at the moment. You can click that subscribe button, ring that bell, and make sure you are turning those notifications on so you can keep up to date with all of the PUBG Mobile Club Open action.
Certainly is, John. Last match of Erangel coming up here, and a very surprising day of action for day 2 of the semi-finals.
Yeah.
Very, very concerned for some of these top performing teams that they have just dropped the ball to say here on day 2, and maybe they can regain their stance in the follow-off match. And if they can't, then that's going to be a really difficult hill to climb coming into the rest of the semi-finals here. Very interesting stuff.
It's going to be pretty difficult for them to regain that mental game. Will they be able to have a resurgence? Will they be able to come back on into it? We'll find out after the break when we come back with the final map of today. It will be Erangel yet again. Don't go anywhere.
Vivo. Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
play PUBG Mobile for free.
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with the pan. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane, you get into the zone. In PUBG Mobile, you all come from different walks in life. But you face the same dangers on the battleground. And you become friends. You work together to overcome the obstacles. This is PUBG Mobile. There's a number one in all of us. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile first anniversary party. PUBG Mobile, be the one.
And we're back with more of the PUBG Mobile Club Open 2019. My name's John Allen. Dowsey is here with me yet again to grace us with his glorious wrinkly brain to give us all of that insight as well to the games we're going to be covering. Of course, we've got one more today. It's going to be Erangel, and we've got the absolute chaos that we've been seeing over the past couple of maps where best teams getting upset. Teams that aren't supposed to be doing super well are coming in and doing really, really great things.
Just reminds me of that community GIF when Troy walks in with the pizza boxes and the whole place is on fire. Everything that we've basically worked towards and set up so far is being dismantled as the top teams start to lose their steam. And basically a lot of people from the bottom of the ladder are now making a run to overtake that. Like we've said already, we'll get into the standings in just a bit, but it's a shocker to be frank at what teams are making it into there based on the fact that they haven't had strong performances in the past. Really crazy stuff, and potentially on match 8 here on Erangel coming up shortly, things will start to go back to the norm as we know it, or maybe we're starting a new path here for the PUBG Mobile Club Open here in India.
Maybe it was just the rotations, the lay of the land as well. Remember that India, a region that favors playing compound-based combat, playing around those buildings, making sure that circle, well, not making sure, but having that circle finish in terrain, in open ground, means that there's so many different factors that they aren't quite as used to. If they aren't able to adapt to it, they are going to get shut down. But let's take a look at the tables. Insidious, they are still at the top due to their cracking performance yesterday, but they are starting to slip. And GodsReign, you can see they're within striking distance. And these are just the teams that have 7 maps on the board as well, remember.
Yeah, like, and Team Insidious got 113 points on day 1. They got 35 points on day 2. So it's not even close to the amount of points they were getting in just one of their matches yesterday. Basically, their killer performance yesterday has carried them through match day 2. Potentially, they can then pick up the ball and fight it back. But Rep Official, GodsReign, newcomers to this top 3, really putting up some stops, and you can see they're just a point apart. We'll have to see if they can continue it. We've praised GodsReign time and time again today for their map rotations. And Rip Official, not as strong, I think, on Erangel in the previous game due to the fact that they were held up in a compound they didn't want to be in against multiple teams constantly basically ping-ponging around their locations. But yeah, pretty crazy stuff. That top 8 is foreign to me, John. It's something that I wasn't expecting heading into match day 2.
Well, let's take a look at the next 8 on the boards. Of course, a couple of teams that we'll know and love from there. Some teams not playing today, HYDRA, really very strong, coming in time and time again, just being very, very consistent. No matter what, they put some points on the board pretty much every time around, so it's nice to see them still there. Team India, a little bit further down, but they're definitely within that striking distance. They need a pretty decent map to try and catch up with HYDRA for that 4th map placement, but we'll see what they're able to do. Pain down is 16th there.
Yeah, after this last match, we're going to have 2 groups on 4 matches and 1 group on 8. So we're going to get a bit of an idea of leading in tomorrow when Group B's and Group C play against each other and equalize everyone at 8 matches apiece. What we're dealing with here. Team Seoul still struggling down at the bottom of the pack here on 24 points. PixL Spades, well, basically, and learn from past, basically due to that single performance on match 7, have managed to put points on the board, but they've got a long way to come if they want to start showcasing that they're a fit for the regional finals.
Maximus Alpha only posting 32 points on this current day, so they really haven't been showing up in the way that we wanted them to. That arc not going to be taken off so far, but we'll see what they're able to do here. It's a very central plane, allows everyone to get a chance to go wherever they want. But it's an early military drop, which means that both India and SWAT are going to be pretty happy about that. They can get that early looting done. Yeah,
early looting is really important in PUBG because it allows you to plan your routes and essentially locations that you want to travel for Phase 1 circle. Also, if you are landing military base, you want to get as much out of that as possible. And so good stuff for Team India here. A bit more of a spread, and I think this could be a much better setup for Team Insidious due to the fact that the plane is heading up to the north last, which means Insidious can jump on over to North Georgiapur and take it if they want to. A little bit of a late drop for Omen, but the rest of the squad will make it there. I am looking over towards the east, though, where you can see that Maximus Alpha, and I believe it's Learn from Past.
I think it might be Team Seoul.
Learn from Past, going to be contesting each other on that westernly flank, but they do have the circle. It's centered on Gatka.
A Gatka final circle. That's what I want to see. Oh yeah, take me to Gatka. Let's
We actually haven't had a western circle yet in weeks 2 or 3 for the Indian region. Not had any play around Ruins or Gatka or Quarry or Everest. So hopefully we can see a bit more of that with this circle here. Does mean that All these teams in the center of the map are going to be fighting for locations around Pachinki Ruins and the Gatka farms.
ISO, we saw them last time, spread out around the Milta regions of the map.
Yeah.
This time around, maybe not going to be super keen on that, although they did
this-
get the early drop in
Yeah.
terms of, you know, being before the halfway mark on that plane, so they might have time to do it. With the length of the first circle, it's not out of the question, but it will be definitely difficult, and they'll have to play the edge of the circle pretty much all the time moving forwards.
Certainly. We see the spread out here, RIP officials taking that southerly farm location just on the coastline. This time they're going to be able to make the rotations that they wanted to, not going to be contested by SWAT, who are still on military base island. Brawlers, they have Roz up to themselves, which is fantastic because they can loot the entire area and they only have to take a couple steps to their east and they will be inside the circle.
Brawler's pretty happy with that one, certainly. They've been posting some pretty decent results, actually. I think the 4th highest average so far in the semi-finals in terms of points. So they're just going to continue to churn it on out. And if they can keep going, well, they'll be in with a shot at making even the top 4 and going on to greater things to see what they can do.
This circle finally working out for Retribution, who love to land in South Georgia Pole, but then constantly having to make large rotations out. Now they can loot up the entirety of that area. The MegaStars, they've done so good this stage on to showcase that they're a real contender for the regional finals here in India. The Saki drop, one of the only teams in India that drops Saki as well. But it works for them.
Yeah, it certainly is. And tell you what else works is military C block for Team India. Time and time again, they just drop there, they go uncontested, SWAT take the compounds around the edge, and they're perfectly fine. The good thing as well is that the circle is on the edge of Military Island, which means they aren't going to be super rushed to make that push. Over in the northern side of the map, the Indian Tigers going to be holding down Saverni.
And the Indian Tigers, not a huge performance today so far. They're not doing terribly, mind you, John. Sitting in 5th position overall, I believe. Constantly just, I guess, ticking away at the points, but nothing that, like, stands out killer for me. Kind of the story of the Indian Tigers today has been losing members early and then managing to rotate as a small 2-man squad into the end game to get those positional points. And I think the Indian Tigers would be much happier if they could keep members alive earlier so that they can be that 4-man squad pushing into the circle, dominating and really executing their plans to get themselves a chicken dinner here on Erangel.
Out of the chaos, though, I'm looking for some teams who have been underperforming today to try and get their strikes in. Of course, I'm talking about GODL. I'm talking about soon. Sorry, Team Seoul. Not coming soon. Coming soon do need to perform, but they're not playing today. I'm looking. Yeah, so GODL and Team Seoul. They all need to have a really strong showing. You can see Team Seoul over towards South George. They are going to be holding that down. It's decent loot. It is decent loot, but it's very difficult to move out, though.
I mean, I find docks a pain to loot when I play.
Oh, Team India, they're playing without one of their squad.
I guess, unfortunately for them, one of the players either not loading in or, yeah, probably just not loading in. So that's really unfortunate.
Well, I have to wait and see what they're able to post. DAKU, though, they're split out around prison. It's like they've taken a little bit of damage, but it should be fine. Yasnai pretty much deserted now.
Yeah.
The Western Circle going to dissuade people from going there, but PixL Spades, they've got that early loot. They got that drop. They made the call. They went with it. They are split up into 2 pairs, however, and so they are going to be a little bit apart from each other.
This last map of Erangel for today will really showcase where these teams' heads are at. For the semi-finals, the competition gets tougher. You're consistently having to play against the top teams in India. And this could be part of the reason why some of these guys are struggling, due to the fact that 2 weeks is a lot of time to play and figure out where you're going wrong, whether it's just rotations, whether it's just the competitive rule set and how the circle works, the placement heavy tournament. People are starting to figure it out, John.
Yeah. They're taking a look at it. They're thinking, well, I'm going to be looking for those chicken dinners. Try and get a little bit of gourmet spicing going on down there. When you make chicken, what's your preferred cooked method? Cooking. What cooked chicken do you prefer? Fried? Are we talking grilled? Are we talking battered and shallow? Like, what's going on with you?
I think I'm a fan of grilled chicken personally, John.
Yeah, nice and healthy.
Do love me a bit of fried chicken, don't get me wrong.
Yeah?
But a bit of peri-peri grilled chicken
Okay.
tends to do the trick.
A little bit of the Portuguese spice maybe coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'm a big fan of shallow fried chicken. It's very nice. It's very, very nice. You can give it like an egg wash and then coat it in flour, and you can fry it in
Bit of buttermilk.
low bit of oil. It's fantastic. Great.
Sure.
Season it all. It can be nice and spiced. It can be nice and with a couple of herbs in there. You know, get it on.
All right,
It's
Sanders.
good. Well, it's a boring first circle, so we're gonna gonna see what they're able to do.
I mean, certainly everyone's starting to make their rotations here. You can see Team India coming down from the north, and the rest of the Northerly team's going to be pushing on in.
What I want you guys to do in the chat is tweet at me at JohnAllenCast your favorite method of cooking chicken. I'll rate them out of 10.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. At JohnAllenCast on Twitter.
There you go. Currently, Maximus Alpha taking a compound by the swamps area. Bit of a difficult bit of terrain to deal with. You already saw that Rip Officials is quite close towards that U compound. Big dip in the road. Maybe Maximus Alpha rotating towards them here. Soul now crashing on into the farms area.
Not too much competition, though. I mean,
No.
everyone's just really chilling out at the moment. This Western Circle going to be
they
seeing
did.
a little bit more action, though.
Maximus Alpha wanted the U compound, and Rip Official are already here. This time, though, I have to praise it. Maximus Alpha actually sending a scout up, and their three-man later on rotating a little bit further away. So good usage of a scout. Unfortunately, they do lose a member, and I think it's Satan who was scouting for them as well, which is now their in-game leader gone. So one of the benefits, I suppose, is that now you can just sit there with the map open with your team's views and figure out stuff.
Yeah, you can full-on QB. But look at this Western shift on the next circle as well. This is
Yeah.
really zoning in on Gatka. Let's go. Gatka final circle. I'm really excited for it.
Retribution, Brawlers, Soul, Insidious, all cramped up in the middle of this, and you can see Insidious getting fired upon by Pain Retribution from Gatka John, your favorite drop location in Erangel. Who knows why? That's a Groza out in the canal, but no one's going to go for it.
There's a med kit there, though, guys. Come on. You can do it. Let's go.
If anyone goes for that, I will be heavily surprised.
Yeah, we eat your level 3 helmet.
I'll eat my level 3 helmet.
Oh, absolutely. But Pachinki being rotated away from now. 8-bit moving out from there as well. Very strong position for them. This is SWAT official making the swim from the military island.
Yes.
As well.
The Brawlers now trying to roll up on the U compound, but Rip have said no. So the Brawlers are like, okay, we'll go away. But the place they're going towards is Maximus Alpha's compound. So you can see that these late rotations into the middle of the circle are painful for some of these teams. And Maximus Alpha are going to spray down Brawlers and really take a lot of chunk out of them. Now Soul into the garage building, taking the north side of the U compound. Insidious and Retribution still engaged in a fight, and it looks like MegaStars have pushed in as well.
This is the same standoff that we saw previously just in
these
last
two
map on
teams?
Erangel. Soul in the building and Rip trying to push onto them in the lower part of the compound. No
Yeah.
matter where they are on the map, this always happens. These two teams, direct rivals, and it seems like this time Soul have got the bead on them. They know
That
exactly what's
nade
going
from Mortal was perfection. Coming on through, gets the confirm and the knock onto Paratosh, and this time Soul are fighting Rip Official for the location. Unfortunately, Vibe going to lose their life trying to trade the kill onto Sky here. Tempest taking damage as well. If Soul can take out these compounds, the 2 stories, and the mansion building as the fight breaks out, Mortal, another kill for him.
Insidious are getting pushed on as well. You can see in your picture-in-picture. They're really quite low. Only one of them remains standing. Looks for the trade. Is going to be able to get it done. And they have a little bit of respite over on the Insidious duel, but so does Soul. And they might just be able to get up. Just Tempest now standing for Rip Official.
I love this from Soul. They needed to make a big play. They've been underperforming so far in the PUBG Mobile Club Open. They decide to rest on their laurels here. They love to pub stomp, and they're trying to pub stomp Rip Officials here. Only Tempest left alive in the U compound. That's going to be Rip Officials in trouble. Brawlers as well. We talked about them earlier. We've actually lost a team, John. Who was it?
I'm not sure.
We missed it.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that was, actually. It might have been the people pushing onto Insidious. I think that might have been it.
It might have been Insidious for all we know.
No, Insidious is still standing. I caught it in the picture-in-picture. I'm pretty
Nice.
sure.
Neat.
We'll
Here
see
it is.
what else comes out. Is Tempest. He needs to make the spray. Goes to the peak, goes out wide, but he's not going to be able to land the shots And Seoul stand strong. They eliminate Rick Official, one of the top performers so far in the tournament.
Yeah, no, they needed that. Seoul, they needed it for not only their placements, but for their confidence.
Absolutely.
In the PUBG Mobile Club Open, for their fans as well here in India. That's going to
Another team goes down.
do well for them. We're down 2 teams. We're not entirely sure who went out first.
They're just slipping through the cracks.
Yeah, looks like Brawlers under fire as well from Maximus Alpha. Got ping-ponged between the 2 compounds. Team India at the observatory. It was MegaStars, John, you're correct, who got taken out by Insidious in 16th. Unfortunate for them. Had a really strong couple of games, but a 16th performance, you know, it happens.
MegaStars, though, they're still posting decent results, even though they're going out at 16th. Their average is going to be looking pretty clean for the day.
Yep.
Pretty middle of the pack, but the fights between Team India still getting pushed forward. 2 very, very strong teams, supposedly, but their Erangel performances, Erangel performances have been a little bit lackluster so far, so they're going to see who gets the better end of it. But Team India decides to not go for that fight.
They need to make a decision really quickly, John, where they want to be, and the circle will make that decision for them. They want to the observatory, but it's going to shift south down towards where the U compound is. Now, they're very close to the swamp area, and I feel like Seoul taking control of the U compound is going to be crucial. It's pretty much an anchor point for this game. SWAT finally get a boat after a long swim towards Primorsk, and now they can get to the edge a little bit quicker here. But currently, it's this hill just west of the Chopstick Farms, where Retribution have the Harry Potter Tower, Insidious are moving on top of the hill here.
I don't know if we've seen where this circle currently is landing for us, but it would be good to get a view on that to see where these teams are going to have to be rotating through.
Team India, they're constantly going into different squads here, and it's going to be Seoul with 2 members out of the compound, 3 members out of the compound, spraying onto Team India here.
I'm praying for a gap to find a circle.
It's not going
That's
to
what
happen.
I'm paying attention to.
We're too southerly now, John.
I think we are just a little bit, but I can always hope. Don't.
You can hope, but like it's like asking for the sky to turn to a completely different color, orange.
Fun fact, the sky isn't actually blue. It's the light that gets refracted through the ozone layer that is then shifted to a blue. The blue light is the one that gets through the best.
Fun fact, Seoul got 5 kills. Indian Tigers losing a member there as they rotate in. Seoul, basically the anchors of the circle, trying to fight off the Indian Tigers and Team India as well. Oasis so far forward. Here comes that replay as well of the fight as Team India sprayed onto the Indian Tigers here. And it was actually Seoul, I believe, who got a kill. Maybe confirmed the kill. So stolen away from Kratos.
Unfortunate for that one, but they get it nonetheless. Team India with the 0 kills to their name. Insidious have a decent position here on the hillside. They have all got a little bit of terrain cover to be working with. SWAT, though, they're on the outer flanks, but learn from past. They spotted something. They know what's up.
Yep.
They know that they're there.
Yeah, so SWAT have been making a very slow rotation onto the main island here of Erangel. Learn from past, just south of the quarry here, wanting to hold off anyone. They want to really hold the south and move up to the north, knowing that there's no one behind them. Inside the quarry is DAKU and Brawlers. Brawlers going to lose Iconic as we speak. Smoke going down just to try and provide cover, but it's not going to happen, unfortunately. Dark not able to save his teammate from afar, and wow, Circle settling on Quarry.
These are always dangerous circles.
Yeah.
These pushes are so difficult around Quarry. These slopes, pretty much impossible to push up and over because someone will have the high ground, someone will have Overwatch, and you're basically reducing the amount of active ground so much that Quarry becomes so tight and difficult to contest with.
You want to be on the top of the Quarry, not inside of it, of course. That's fairly common knowledge. Currently,
although even being on the top, that's pretty dangerous because everyone can see that. It's very difficult.
A lot of high ground for sure. And there's so many teams in the north. Team Insidious, Indian Tigers, the Team India, as well as Seoul, who are trying to make a rotation down. PixL Spades as well, just to the west. You can see Indian Tigers on the swamp, firing towards the Team India, who are pushing towards Indian Tigers. They want to remove them from the map here, John, so they have a safer rotation. You can see the frag nades coming over the top, but not quite landing where they need to be. Maybe rolling down the hill, no. Going to be okay for Sam now on the log pile.
A lot of damage over onto the US, though, so that might be good. But Seoul come under the fire.
This is a good nade.
They get confirming it as well. Mavi is going to get the nade out. Don't think it's going to hit anyone. Maybe Kratos might just be affected by it, but the sprays there. Gets taken down instantly. The flick goes down, and India wipe out these 2 players for Team Indian Tigers.
Yeah, it's Carry, who's a little bit further to the south here. anchoring for the Indian Tigers.
Oh, another
Scout
player from
OP
India
is gonna
goes.
poke, and he's going to go down. That's going to be
That's
Team
it.
India eliminated in 13th position, and potentially Carry can even get Mavi up here.
I'm not too sure. They are in the blue, so he might just continue to tick away. Let's have to wait and see. Yep, Mavi goes down, so they didn't get the res. Only one player now left for the Indian Tigers. So they have to try and make their way in, but another bad finish coming out from Team India.
Yeah, not the performances they were hoping to showcase here on Erangel. Is going to be this quarry finish. A lot of teams struggling with it. Retribution falling down the hill. You can see DAKU just above them. Seoul just south of them, and PixL Spades down the hill in the little compound as well. And that's just the eastern side, northeastern side of the circle. There's a lot of teams to the east as well.
Oh, this is good.
Can Sega find the cock? He's just going for the UAS here, and that's not going to be an issue for Retribution.
Yeah, I mean, just taking it out, taking those rotation paths away, pretty decent. Pain Retribution rotating on a little bit further, but ISO start to clash with Team Insidious. A couple of knocks go through, and finally DAKU get the spray downs from above onto Pain Retribution as well.
Losing members as we fly on over to spectate the Insidious fight against ISO. So much action happening across the circle, and Lancer going to be able to confirm A and B for himself here. Indian Tigers have just crept into the circle. You can see in the top left, top right of your screen on the minimap.
Oh, he spots out Patel.
Maximus Alpha, third partying onto Insidious as well. It's a 3-squad fight happening on that east flank.
A lot of teams starting to crash now. 12 teams still standing. We'll have to wait and see who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, you can see Maximus Alpha behind them, ISO in front of them, and right now Insidious are just hiding in the smoke, hoping, praying that they can get some meds off so they can run into the new circle that's about to be revealed. Phase 5 about to get started here.
And from past getting shot on as well. Pretty much everyone having a hard time. Of course, this circle is just zoning even further into Quarry. Oh dear, look at that. Those hillsides are going to be deadly. And basically the entirety of the center of that circle, at least a third of the area, is going to be dead ground. No one can use it.
Yeah, ISO now approaching onto Insidious. They're going to push on in and try and eliminate Insidious from the server, and they do. Cartoon's last man standing goes on down. Insidious out in 12th. Another fairly lackluster performance for them on Erangel, and ISO going to hungry loot up as quickly as possible.
They're like ducks.
Yeah.
It's like when you go in with
I
the
love
bread
it's the
and
auto
they
loot
just
system.
go
It's
up and
like
the auto loot. Like, you guys couldn't see what Dowsey was doing there, but
it was a very
I
accurate...
guarantee you it was the best thing that any of you would have ever seen.
Oh no.
Diptej, he does get spotted out. Lancer not actually going for the spray down. Has the AK. Okay,
Unlucky.
need to aim next time, please, Lancer.
Harsh. SWAT still in a fight with Learn from Past.
Patel
GodsReign
should be dead.
are
Like,
trying to
straight
move
up.
on in. GodsReign struggling against SWAT as the fire comes through. Lancer spraying onto Carry from the Indian Tigers.
Last player for them.
Last player, like you mentioned, playing for possession. And again, it's the Indian Tigers sending one man into the end of the circle, which has been the story of their day today. Phoenix will go down as SWAT able to find another kill for themselves here. In fact, stolen by Godsreign. Cheeky.
What I'm looking for is Team Seoul. I want to see how well they're going to be able to place here, because they obviously have had pretty poor performances moving on, but ISO now having a conflict with 8-Bit up and down the hill. 8-Bit seem to be coming out good, but you've got Sidhu, the little bit of the X factor moving into the rest of that fight. Everybody really clashing at this stage around Quarry, but this next position is going to be so important for so many teams because of the amount of dead ground that we've covered previously during the broadcast. There's so much dead ground in Quarry that you cannot use. You cannot go down into the middle of it. These ridges are so important.
PixL Spades just got eliminated by Mortal off screen here. 10 teams remaining and the firefight still enraged. ISO struggling to hold up against 8-Bit as they push up the Quarry hill to try and take position. Maximus Alpha now clashing with DAKU. Sega trying to get rezzed by Ray Hill. Should be able to get it for himself for now. And currently it looks like Seoul invested in a fight with Pain Retribution.
8-Bit taking quite heavy casualties, but so are ISO as well. They're going back and forth. You can see everybody just laid bare, and that's going to be it. ISO go out to 8-Bit, 3 players down, but Ash still stands, and there's enough health to see them right.
And it looks like GodsReign also losing their lives as well, John. Not quite able to make it into the end game circles like we see from them time and time again.
Look at where is Soul in all of this?
They're
Soul
up,
Viper.
up towards the top left. They've got the quarry to work with, but the zone is actually forcing us inside the quarry now. Not going to be able to play that height ground, and you can see Oasis making a push immediately. Retribution just on the sidelines here, trying to survive, throwing nades over towards Oasis, and Oasis trying to get up the hill so he can spray on down towards Diptag and Patel.
As soon as someone breaches that
There it
southern
is.
ridge, he's just going to get completely pinned down.
Can he
There's
get-
no way he can push, but Patel still there, looking for the shots. Oasis, he should have spotted Diptej falling out a little bit lower. Oh, so that was third party. Patel got taken down by Learn
Swag, yeah.
Learn from Past, and he's going to be able to get it done. And Oasis, look at that.
5 teams remaining. Learn from Past, 8-bit SWAT official, Team Soul, and Maximus Alpha here, all in the quarry area, looking to make it happen.
Strong
Learn
teams
from
as well.
Past, needing to try and put up a big performance. They've got 4 members alive and 5 kills, and Team Soul with 12. What happened? They've turned on, suddenly coming up in a huge force with 3 members alive and the quarry to play with.
They've already managed to make that drop as well, so they have a really strong position, because if everybody's going to be forced to come down, having that position everyone's running to is going to be very strong. But SWAT now under pressure, as with pretty much everyone else at the moment. Maximus Alpha looking to try and leapfrog down here. You can see they set up that firing squad. 8-bit have a similar idea, and they're starting their movement.
Soul looking to try and prove themselves here in the PUBG Mobile Club Open as they take control of Quarry on the west, as Learn from Past overviewing at the moment just on the edge of the circle, one of the few squads that actually are allowed to stay at the top of Quarry due to their southerly location.
Oh, the Orm.
The Orm picked up here, going to try and do some shots for Maximus Alpha. Not quite able to land them, unfortunately, but it's so scary. Everyone drops the deck.
On court again, rattling off some shots. SWAT making the move, but they're getting lit up from the other side. It's Soul to get the knock onto Digyant. There's a supply drop. 8-bit might be able to get that if they push down further into the quarry, but they have to make that.
They might be forced to later on, but currently they can't afford to due to the fact that Encore and the rest of Learn from Past have such key eyes on that location. The circle about to close up here as Phase 6 will stop out. We're heading into Phase 7. Where will the circle shift? To the west to Soul, to the south to Learn from Past, or the north to Maximus Alpha? That's the real question we're asking ourselves. SWAT finally able to push on into the quarry here. Got the smoke cover. Learn from Past have spotted Team Soul as well. Another smoke to refresh on top of their position. It's hard to say who has the...
so
it's
terrifying.
scary, isn't it? So scary.
It's Maximus Alpha who have it. Of course, across the way, you're so exposed to that.
Yes.
You have to push down the hill.
Ooh, look to the south. SWAT official, Team Soul, and Learn from Past probably have the easiest route into the circle, but they will have Maximus Alpha overwatching as well as 8-bit. Might be actually the most difficult push for Learn from Past. They have quite a few drops to take.
The thing is as well, Soul, it's easy to go down. It's not so easy to go up. If they have to go up a ridge, it's going to be so difficult. But they do get the knock onto SWAT. That might give them a little bit more pressure to move on through. But 8-bit have to make the run. And they have to make it pretty soon. You can see they have the gauntlet through the Valley of Death. Cannons to the left of them, cannons to the right of them. Into the valley.
Come on, Kritugya. I want to see a knock with the Orm. You only get them a few times in competitive experience, and now you have to make your mark. 8-bit pushing into the circle, taking that southern flank. Mortal swiping, SWAT out, I believe? No, it's just to confirm onto SWAT. Learn from Past down the hill using the Dacia so they can get down quickly, and now Encore's so close. Maximus Alpha trying to cross in, but Ryza will take them out. The firefight raging as Learn from Past able to third party onto that one.
8-bit taking casualties. Soul still holding strong for now. Maximus Alpha as well, raining down fire from above onto 8-bit. They get a lot of knocks. There's a confirm as well. Now it's just Ash for the team. Maximus Alpha taking shots as well. Soul really strong into this final circle.
King, can he survive? Hits the deck, goes down. Currently Learn from Past have the circle in Phase 7.
That's SWAT out, I think.
It is. SWAT out. 3 teams remain. Soul pushing towards Learn from Past. 8-bit with a couple members alive, snaking it on in. In fact, it's just Ash left alive from 8-bit. 3 members for Soul, 4 for Learn from Past, and the snake of Ash trying to keep 8-bit in it. The circle pushing the players to their edges on Quarry. The question is, will Phase 8 go to Learn from Past or Soul now? Up or down is the question. You have to imagine if it's up, then Learn from Past should win this outright. No questions asked.
It depends how many smokes that Seoul have. If they have more, they can start to make the push. You can see Learn from Pass again. Oh, what a nade!
What a nade!
It came on through. It got a lot of damage over onto Swag as well. This might be the time that they're looking for, but don't forget, Ash is still in the backlines. We've seen 8-bit players do this before and have massive success with it.
Yeah, last time it was Ted. This time it's Ash. Phase 8 revealed, and I can't tell where it is. No one can tell where it is. All I can say...
It's just in the middle of the two.
It's in the middle of the two. That means Learn from Pass have to come down towards Seoul. That's a risky push, but they've got the Shaq as well as the fuel tank, I guess, as cover. And currently Ash just happy to snake it on into the circle. Let Seoul and Learn from Pass use all their utility towards each other.
You can see they're just hopping over meds. At the moment, Ash, yeah, he's dropping all his stuff.
Yep, so he can get rid of the backpack and become a smaller target. Viper pushing up.
He just had the headshot.
Looking for the shots onto Snacks here. The flashbang goes out. It won't really do much just yet.
No, they have the cover. They should be all right. It's utility being traded back and forth. You can see that.
Oh, I love that.
I think they know where Ash is.
So they're wary that Ash exists, and they don't want to allow him to third party. Here comes Swag pushing down the hill, able to get on down. Snacks has the shot.
Oh, it's the M24, sorry.
M24, yep. Not quite able to land it, unfortunately. Here comes the zone push. They have to come off the hill. Good
Nice
headshot
shots.
coming through from Viper. Gonna find another kill for them. 15 kills for Seoul here. Looking to make it more. Learn from Pass pushing down the hill. Seoul able to use this ridgeline to perfection. But they've constantly got to worry about Ash from behind.
They certainly do, but it doesn't look like it's going to give them too much worry. You can see Ash just trying to wait for one of these teams to wipe. That's his entire game plan right now. Play the terrain and try and get on in, but Learn from Pass. They need to make this push. They've abandoned Snacks up at the top of the hill. There's no way they can go back up, not without losing more than they would gain.
He's dropped down. They're going to get the res, actually.
Oh, they should be able to get him up, actually. Yeah, it's very, very nicely positioned.
Ash is going for it. He's going for the whole wipe onto Seoul. Spraying through the smoke. Gets a knock kit. Can Ash get any more damage onto Oasis? Mortal full health. The med kit coming out. First aid, I should say. Viper in the smoke trying to get on over towards Oasis. Does Ash have any nades? He's going to push for the smoke. The reload on the AK. Wants to try and make the hero play onto all of his sprays.
Ash!
One more to go. He doesn't quite get it. Oasis holds him through. But
Learn
here
from
comes
Pass.
Learn from Pass pushing on in. One knock for Oasis. Needs to get 3 more. Looking for it all, but he can't do it. It's Learn from Pass taking the final match of Erangel in dominant fashion.
But Seoul, look at the kills they were able to rack up as well. Huge numbers being posted. And again, it is once more a chaotic finish. Quarry, one of my favorite things to watch. It's so important to be able to hold that ground and be able to move up and down freely. And when you are denied that, it feels like the life is just being choked out of you. And that's exactly what everyone was able to do there to hold it down to the final circles. Beautiful performances coming in from Learn from Pass. They knew exactly what they needed to do. They had the great position. They came in from the south. They had that ridge control time and time again. They were so crucial as everybody fought for the northern barrier. It was them who came out on top in the end from the south.
What a huge performance coming out from Learn from Pass. They needed it desperately, John, after a solid group stages. And now they're showcasing why they had that group stages. Able to put up the stops there.
Sure.
Great usage of third partying towards the end, provided by 8-bit with a hero play attempt from Ash. But of course, Team Seoul fans will rejoice. Finally, they see the glimmers of hope that Team Seoul were able to output in previous years for PUBG Mobile eSports. A huge amount of kills coming through from them. A lot of, I guess, confidence really coming through from Team Seoul. Maybe potentially going back to their grassroots, the way they like to play.
I think they hit 16 kills towards the end there. Let's take a look at some of those highlights. I'll be really interested to see quite a few of these as we go through. But yeah, absolutely. Really, really well done. I think Seoul had the advantage there. I genuinely do. But Ash changed his game plan.
Yeah.
If Ash had stuck to his guns and tried to wait to place second, I think it might have gone Seoul's way. I think they might have been able to do it.
Very unusual play from Ash to go all out there, essentially, and push onto Team Seoul in such a crazy fashion,
nearly got it
really.
done, though.
And he nearly got it down. Got 2 knocks and almost a third. It could have been enough to push 8-bit into second position. But here's these highlights, like you mentioned. ISO were the ones to eliminate Team Insidious, another lackluster performance. Of course, the Indian Tigers wiped Team India before they got wiped themselves. And currently, it's shocking scenes, really, in the semifinals, John, as bottom teams start to climb the ladder, top teams getting dominated. homework being done and strategies not being able to continuously be executed, finally figuring each other out.
They do manage to get it done. You can see 8-bit there getting shut down on the side. This is the north. This is the battle for the north, but you can see this whole time both SWAT and Learn From Past, they're just pretty chill on the south. When they did clash, it was Learn From Past to come out on top, and Seoul had already gotten the center of the quarry. So those were the two teams with the power. You can see here's where SWAT went out. But it was really well performed by so many of these squads. Learn From Past holding it down and going pretty much unmolested on that southern side, giving them the power to move on forwards.
Yeah, certainly. No one expected Ash to put such a fight up against Seoul here as he sprays down, takes Viper out, peeks through the smoke, takes Mortal, and almost secures the Oasis as well. But Learn From Past, they strike whilst the iron is hot, taking out Oasis at the very last second here. And Swag just like showcasing that he can body block to make sure Oasis can't fall back down the hill. Great stuff coming through from Learn From Past. 2 solid performances in a row on Erangel to really up their standings and put them back in a good position. And the semifinals are so unpredictable, John. We thought it was clear-cut after day one, and it's certainly not.
Oh, yeah, it's going topsy-turvy. We're all over the place. But see a couple of these head-to-head. Seoul, of course, taking on Learn From Past in that last engage. Seoul had a little bit further to rotate. Of course, they started up near Georgia Pole. I think they started South Georgia, near Docks, to get them off the ground. And then Learn From Past. I'm not too sure where they dropped, actually. I'd have to double-check and go back and have a look. But we'll see what they're able to do.
Learn From Past dropped Primorsk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
3,000 damage total for Team Seoul. Learn From Past getting about 1,000 of that damage. Similar kill sort of lines. No, not really. There's 7 difference. It's huge.
But Learn From Past still have the advantage in terms of the points by 1.
Yep.
By 1.
By 1.
They still have the advantage.
Yep.
Of course, Paradox, I don't think was able to have much of an impact there. Not doing any damage. I think Learn From Past had 4 players up the whole time.
Yeah, they did.
So he was just not getting those fights.
Yeah, Ronak went down pretty early in the battle.
Yeah, for Seoul.
Wasn't quite able to stay alive and towards the end. Could have been very influential if you had 4 members in the quarry instead. But again, it came down to terrain. Learn From Past, one of the few teams coming from the south into the quarry, gave them an advantage. A lot of the teams coming from the north and the east as well. And they weren't quite able to push their way back up the hill. So quarry, a crazy finish. Certainly one of the more strange ones, and I feel like Quarry is one of the locations that not many teams really like to drop. Like, no one really drops Quarry. No one really loots Quarry.
Yeah, it's very difficult to kind of play around it. No one's very familiar with it.
I remember the first time I learned Quarry, I'm just like, this has literally 0 loot.
Yeah, fair enough. You think it's going to be good, but no, it's all been blown up by the dynamite. But if you want to head over and play with some of these pros, get on the same level, you need the right kit to do it, and you can have that with the official smartphone of the PUBG Mobile Club Open. That is Vivo. Vivo produce great smartphones, and they are our official sponsors.
Yeah, making sure this tournament can happen. If you want to find out more about the PUBG Mobile Club Open, then head on over to our site at clubopen.pubgmobile.com for all the standings, the groups, the rosters of all of these teams across the 6 regions: South America, North America, Europe, Middle East, as well as the wildcard region, and of course here, India.
Yeah, well, India's the one you want to check out, let's be honest. And if you want to check out the VODs from it, the highlights as well from that crazy final finish over in Quarry, you can head over to the YouTube channel at PUBG Mobile eSports and hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, make sure you get those notifications so you can stay up to date with the latest of the PMCO 2019.
Yeah, especially with Europe and the Middle East coming up very shortly. If people want to stick around and get more PUBG Mobile action, then stay tuned, subscribe to the YouTube channel, because those regions as well putting up some big numbers.
Oh yeah, they certainly are. But that is going to be it for the second day of the semi-finals. We're going to be back tomorrow at the same time, same place, same channel as well. So
same faces.
Same faces. Yeah, we're still going to be here.
Different clothes.
Unfortunately. Yeah, probably. Well,
probably.
Do you think? Do you think we should change clothes?
100%.
Okay, we'll change clothes. We'll do it for you guys. We'll do it for you viewers at home. So make sure you do tune in to check out.
I'm doing it for me. I don't know about you, John.
When I'm at home, I don't change clothes for a solid week.
Yikes.
Absolutely. But if you want to tune in tomorrow, we'll be back with the third day of the semi-finals, where we'll bring everyone up to that 8-map total, and we'll get a real good view of what is going to be looking at for the final week of the semi-finals. But for now, I've been John Allen. With me has been Dowsey. We've had a great time so far. We'll see you tomorrow.
play PUBG Mobile for free.
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with the pan. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane, you get into the zone. In PUBG Mobile, you all come from different walks in life. But you face the same dangers on the battleground. And you become friends. You work together to overcome the obstacles. This is PUBG Mobile. There's a number one in all of us. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile first anniversary party. PUBG Mobile. Be the one.